Blake said, yep. You know what? Yeah. Hi, you guys. Happy Thursday. Hi, you guys. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Oh, wow. The number just went up. I'm sorry, you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that, Blake. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I had to put a couple of things in the chat. Happy Thursday, you guys. So I just got off of TikTok Live. And child, I was having a key over there. We were just talking and talking. Thank you to whoever liked the live, by the way. I appreciate it, babes. Thank you so much. But initially, our conversation was about having Audacity. So what inspired me to make this video is actually from the grant writing webinar that we conducted on the 10th of this month. And I always reference this because it was a very simple question, but it was a really powerful question when I think about it. They were like, well, you know, with all of this information, would you mind just giving us a pep talk, like as a word of encouragement or whatever? And I was like, you know what? For a lot of the opportunities and for a lot of the things that ended up working out for me, it was simply a byproduct of my audacity. Sometimes you're waiting on the door to open for you, you're waiting on the opportunity, but there are instances where you're actually not meant to wait on the door, you're meant to create a door for other people and create an opportunity for yourself. And your audacity is your cheat code. With the TikTok that I also posted as a short on YouTube as well, I talked about the consequences of not having audacity, essentially, when we talk about underestimating yourself. When you underestimate yourself, you expose yourself to all kinds of exploitation and manipulation and control, because people benefit off of you not knowing your worth. But you benefit when you learn what it is that you bring to the table, when you learn your value. Does that make sense? What kind of question is that? Hi, Joe. I'm well, Charlie. Thank you for asking. How about yourself? Thank you. Is it Eve's? Eve's Angel? Thank you, babes. Oh, thank you, Mila. Mila the Boricua. Period, sis. Thank you, babes. Thank you. I've done this hairstyle some time ago, but I think sometimes you guys can't really see like how body, like the color is and like the layers. I was actually tripping earlier because I wore a contrast shirt. For those who don't know, I have a beauty channel as well, and that's where I do like my brand collaborations and reviews and stuff like that. And I have a long-standing partnership. I love this brand. Like every time I tell them, like I posted the video or whatever, she's already hitting me up like, we're finna send you another one. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. For me, I'm big on quality. I want all of my partnerships, brand partnerships and collaborations to make sense, but I also want them to be long-standing. I don't believe in like short circuit partnerships. I believe in like meaningful and long-standing partnerships, essentially. So I got that out the way for her, and I was like, I posted the video, here's the link. And she was like, okay, we got another one for you. I'm like, period. And it's so beautiful because for my babes who are into luxury and all of that, like I want them to get put on with the plug, you know, get the affordable promo codes, all of that, so you can get a discount. I don't know nothing about that. Taco truck. A taco truck, tacos sound really good right now. Name a MLB player for an edit. I don't need an edit, but wasn't Jackie Robinson a Major League Baseball player? I love tacos. Yeah. Yeah. They don't have to buy the discount. Yeah, they get a discount code already. Work on your voice. No. I rock with it. I like my voice. Thank you, Porter Thompson. Thank you, babes. You look like a new person. I feel like I look new every other week that I get up here, honestly. Like, I don't know what that is. You know how some people just always look the same? For me, like, I feel like I always look different. I don't know. But you're not lying. I feel like every time I come up on the camera, I look different. It looks so good. Thank you. I love like highlights and lighter colors. I've been saying this. I actually get a lot of compliments when I do blonde. When I first like came on the scene with the blonde highlights, everyone was like, this is your color. And I would have to agree. It's just the style of it. So like I did a curly thing before, but I'm realizing with like, I don't know, with my features, sometimes when it comes to like curly hair, depending on how it's like cut and styled and layered or whatever, or sometimes I may have to cut and style it. Because like I said before, I do a lot of brand collaborations and promo on my beauty channel, Miss Aretha Room 2. Sometimes I feel like too much hair, it kind of overpowers my features. So I want to do color again for sure, like brighter colors. But I have to figure out how to style it. Or like have a brand reach out to me or whatever, do a partnership with a brand and the, I don't know, the extensions or whatever that they want to send me to promote. It's like styled a particular way to where it suits me. Like this suits me. You see the color, you see, you know, the style of the hair or whatever, but it's not too much. You see what I mean? I broke up with my boyfriend, but now I'm living my life better and I'm just a girl. You know what? If you feel better, that's all that matters, babes. That's all that matters. I'm well, Charlie. How are you? I think I already answered your question, but you know what? Why not? Why not give a greeting again? It doesn't hurt. Let me. Oh, thank you, Island Girls. Tea for you. Thank you, babes. Okay, so you're hallucinating, Anthony Cardenas. You're hallucinating. And I don't know if you need to admit yourself to your local psychiatric hospital for hold. Let us know if you make it there safely, okay? We'll be on the lookout for you. Hi, Gabby. Welcome to the reader community, babes. Well, what am I doing? I'm getting up here having a conversation with my reader community. That's typically what I do over here. You guys are hallucinating. David, it sounded like you might have to find your local psychiatric hospital as well. Let us know if you guys need moral support. It's okay. It's okay to admit yourself as need be. Hi, everybody. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys having a good week so far? We're approaching the weekend. Yeah. Super excited for that. Hopefully you guys get some rest. Hopefully this week has been treating you all well. But yeah, all jokes aside, what had me thinking about Audacity is, you know, that webinar that we did. And for those who have been securing their spot for the July 24th date, I'm so excited to see you guys there if you missed the July 10th date. But for those of you guys who came for July 10th, you get to access the second webinar free of charge. So July 24th, circle back. If you didn't secure your spot for July 10th, don't worry. There's still room for you for July 24th. Just make sure you secure, okay, your spot before then, okay? And it will be virtual, so no matter where you are able to access the link. You just have to, like I said before, secure your spot so we can send you that information. But what got me thinking about the power of Audacity is, in order for you to even pursue your purpose, pursue your passion, you have to be bold. And that requires audacity. Sometimes you have to step out on faith, even when everyone around you is discouraging you from doing so. Or they're telling you that's not gonna work out, that's pointless. They say that they don't see the vision. They say that you're not fit for the role or you're not fit for the task. I think the most fruitful returns that I've seen were a byproduct of being underestimated. Being counted out. Or people pushing you out. And sometimes it's not even that you're underestimated. People see your potential, they just hope that you don't. And what I was talking about on TikTok Live is you even have to redefine what success looks like for you when it comes to Audacity. Because Audacity is also tied to your dignity and your self-worth. There are gonna be some situations that you back out of for the sake of preserving your dignity. So if you stand your welcome in a space or in a connection that will cost you your self-respect and your dignity, if that's the exchange, then it's actually not a reward. And if you're pushed out of a particular opportunity or space or a group, a friend group or whatever, because you stood firm on your principles and you didn't allow people to disrespect you, then that wasn't really a loss. So it's almost like the more that you evolve and you grow, the more inverted things become. A lot of the programming that you're taught, it looks completely different when you actually step out on faith and you start following your dreams and you start being more bold when it comes to your purpose. Someone said trophy, period. I'm in California. I'm from Sacramento, California, though. I do wear my natural hair often, but I didn't even see their comment. Child, people be telling me, ignore this person, ignore this person. They are already ignored. When it comes to negativity and trolling, it's like those people just, I can't even see them. I don't know. My brain just blocks them off. I don't know. Thank you, Arabella. Someone said I would look different without this hair. I do. I have so many lives of me with my natural hair slicked back into a ponytail. I do. I will look different. The layers frame my face a little bit more. That's the purpose. The highlights bring out my warm undertones a little bit more. That's the purpose. That's the purpose. Thank you, Shane. So you guys like this hair? I'm rocking with it too. I like it. I even like the way that it's cut. You look like a new person. Thank you. Yeah. You a T, thank you. Oh, this is who you're referring to when they said, hey, alien head. I mean, I don't know what to tell people about the head jokes and the forehead jokes. I mean, the thoughts, the ideas, they have to go somewhere. Thank you. Thank you. You guys like the hair. I appreciate it, you guys. I like it too. I love when I do color, especially like lighter colors, highlights. Highlights are my thing. Good to see you too, Philip. Talk with politeness and respect logically and rationally, and that's on period. You know what? Sure. Oh, thank you. I like that cross. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Thank you. You're glowing queen. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. How do I do that in real life? Ignore people. Well, the best medicine, the best antidote for that when people are playing with you is distance. If you can revoke their proximity to you as soon as possible, that's really where you're going to get a bang for your buck. Until then, you just have to be indifferent. You know, whatever they say, you have to kind of let it ricochet up off of you. Don't give them the ins and outs, like the details of your life. They don't get access to that. That's a luxury. And that's something that's preserved for your allies. So yeah. I'm weak. You should be in Streamers University. You know what? I don't know. I feel like that my hat goes off to the streamers. They are so funny when I see their little clips on TikTok. I feel like everyone who got admitted, or at least the people that I've seen, they put in their streamer points. They did, and they've been at it. They're young, they're having fun. I love to see them in their element. As far as the business hype though, I would love to. I would love to see if there's a way for me to assist them, like if they want to publish a book or if they want to get in business. When it comes to like music or whatever, I have a music publishing administrative service. I don't know, you guys, I am funny. That's my hidden talent, is I really am. That's one of many. But I am very funny, but I also joke and I say like, I'm not sure if people could handle how funny I really am. Cause it kind of like, I could go there with it. So I don't even know if I need to be up on the people stream. Cause I will clown. But I like it though. I don't have an issue with the streamers. I'm rooting for them. I don't think that they're getting in the way of anything. They're funny. They are funny, y'all. They be having me weak, them little clips that I be seeing. I'm like, this is dope. Like, you know, when I was growing up, like we had those forms of entertainment, and I think that things just got so performative. I hate to say it. I feel like things did get a little performative where people were kind of like trying to, you know, like almost robotic. And when the streamers first came on the scene, what I told my mom was, I think that there are going to be a lot of corporations and businesses who capitalize on it. Like if they're smart. And I was like, most of these people are smart. That's why they've had like long-standing corporations and businesses. I think that they're going to start to rub shoulders with these streamers because they're seeing like the tides are shifting. People want to see humor. People want to see, you know, kids be kids and have fun and be lighthearted. Like, I don't know. I'm rooting for the streamers. They're funny. They be having me weak, y'all. They're just young and turned, and they don't be, for the most part, from what I hear, and God forbid, I don't want that to ever happen in the near future, they don't even be getting into problems like that. Like, they may have their little petty back and forth with one another or whatever, like the little streamer drama, but they literally just stay out the way. And they just stream all day and laugh and have fun and be young. I love it. I love that for them. I do. As far as what I've seen, I don't know if there's like any extra drama or weirdness though. So if there is, I stand corrected. But from what I've seen so far, and the people that I've seen rather, they are so funny. I love it for them. Get y'all's brand collaborations, get y'all's money, and they're young, and they already like have motion for themselves. I love it. I love it for them. I don't know who that singer is. She's a legend, Walk of Fame. Oh, okay, period. That's your username. Are you a fan page of her? Tell me a little bit more about her. I'm not familiar with her discography. Thank you, Lexi. Thank you, babes. Hi, Sonia. Oh, thank you, Sonia. Good evening, Garrett. I'm weak. Captain Kyron, trying to find something to troll about you, but you flawless. Well, why do you want to troll? Just be in here and have a vibe. Have a vibe. Just vibe. Let's see. I do like Takis. I like them a lot. I be tearing Takis up. You got fired from McDonald's? Billy gonna say Dollar Tree is hiring. That's okay. Yeah, if you, I mean, if you want to go back into the job market, then, you know, there's always places hiring. Go in person. Try to go in person to make your application stand out, though, if you want to get back in the field. But if you're done with that and you want to start a business, boo, attend that grant writing webinar so we teach you how to secure funds to start your business. July 24th. Description for the links and all of that is included in this chat, and it will also be included in the description box of this live. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, did I actually include it? I'll include it once we're done, girl. But it's in the chat already. I already included it, both of the links in the chat. Hi to everyone waving hi. Shabaka House, Chris, hi. Streamer University is in my town, period. Are they causing trouble? Hopefully they're not. I'm rooting for them. Hit that like button if you haven't. Thank ya. That's right. That's right, thank you. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Thank ya. I thought I had the info to that in the chat. I'm from Sacramento, California. Shout out to Dallas. Hi, user Bull26. Shout out to Jamaica. Hi, Roderick. Hi, Rendato. Thank you guys for everyone complimenting me in the chat. You guys are so sweet. Favorite song. Oh my gosh, I have so many. One of these days, I'm gonna have to just like scroll through my playlist so I won't forget. How about this? Because I can't choose a favorite song of all time. I'll try to choose from different genres, like the songs that are in heavy rotation for me. Let's start with a praise and worship song. Oh, this is so hard. Order My Steps is one of my favorite. Order My Steps in Your Word. My grandmother put me onto that one. Neo soul song. I can't choose just one, but I'll choose a couple from the artists that I love. Dion. Really, pretty much anything Erykah Badu. I grew up on Erykah, like down. Didn't You Know is one of my favorites by Erykah. Four-Leaf Clover is such a beautiful, beautiful song. I love Next Lifetime. I mean, really everything Erykah Badu. Window Seat, Love of My Life. I love Erykah, period. And who else? Music Soul Child. One of my favorite Music Soul Child songs is Merry Go Round. I also love Teach Me by Music Soul Child. D'Angelo, everything D'Angelo. Everything D'Angelo. Period. Point blank, period. But I specifically love his live album. Love D'Angelo down. Favorite song that I'm listening to as of late, that's been on rotation. Let me think. Rather Never Love Again by K1. That's been on rotation for me. It's such a beautiful, beautiful record. Oh my gosh, I have so many favorite Mariah Carey songs. I love Joyride, such a beautiful track. Fly Like a Bird is a beautiful track. Let's see. I have a lot of favorite rap songs. I can't even remember. I have a lot of Nicki on my playlist. When it comes to rap music, I also love Future. I always joke and I say like News or Something is my theme song with Future. And it's true. I don't know what it is about that song. Just when he said, swimming in the water, no paddle, trying to walk in my shadows, it just resonated with me because exactly like, what are you doing? You can't swim in these waters. These are murky waters. You can't handle it. But who else? What is another rapper that I listen to? I don't know why. Mozzie. I love Mozzie. Mozzie, like I said before, in my older life, he's a dope lyricist. That's all that's coming to mind. I love A. Marie too. I love A. Marie. Why Don't We Fall in Love is like one of my favorite A. Marie tracks. Maya Fallen is one of my favorite tracks too. I'm just gonna have to go through my playlist one of these days with you guys because I know every single time I'm forgetting I'm forgetting a key song that I play in heavy rotation, Faith Evans. I love Faith Evans. I always say this. I feel like Faith is just underrated. Not just as a songstress, but as a writer, a songwriter, the impact that she's made. I think we overlook it too much, just in my personal opinion. But those are just the people that I can think of right now, if I'm gonna be honest, but there's so many more. Oh, I tried to add the little, girl, I don't know. I tried to flip it together, but let's see, Maya. Yeah, I love Maya too. I love Maya Down. A. Marie, wow, you love old school. My dad had like huge cases of like CDs in all different genres. Rap music, neo soul, R&B, jazz. Sometimes my dad would vibe out in the car with just like jazz music playing. And I always tell people like my family was a really, really big entertainment household. We would go to Blockbuster and we would get movies and we would watch the movies that all of us picked with like our popcorn and our candy. We would have designated weekends where we would go to the movie theater. Someone said Miss Reed was popping pretty. I'm just chilling. I'm chilling. I just wanted to check in with you guys. I feel like it's been a little minute. Oh. A lot of black artists. Where's the variety? Well, you know what? That's what I like. I like Jasmine Sullivan too. Just to double down on the colored. I love Jasmine Sullivan. Love her. One of my favorite Jasmine Sullivan songs is 10 Seconds. I also like Insecure. I like that song. What are some other artists that I listen to? Brandy. How did I forget about Brandy? Brandy is just phenomenal. And I can't choose a favorite song by Brandy. Can't do it. I was born Y2K, literally, figuratively, and actually. I love that though. That was a cool era. No, I didn't. Did I make a video on Kelly? No, I didn't. What happened? Is she okay? Alina Baraz. Okay, I've heard of that name. I'm not sure if she was ever on my playlist. But I was familiar with her when I was in college. Like, she was really popular when I was in college. During that time, I had a hiccup, I'm sorry. During that time, I had the internet, the band on my playlist really heavy. And I actually think they're making a comeback, so fingers crossed. I love Special Affair / Curse. Oh, I love the transition into that. But baby, you made me believe. I love that. Oh my God, I love the internet. I'm just gonna have to like sit here and play music with you guys all day, one day. But oh, I can get copywritten, right? No thanks, never mind. Lauryn Hill, yeah. Of course, Miss Education of Lauryn Hill is a classic. Who else was I listening to during that phase? There was all kinds of music. You know, when you're in college, you learn about a lot of underground music too. And I also love that record. I think Sid was on that record, Find Your Wings. Beautiful track. I want to think Callie was on that too. I love that song. That song carried me when I was in college. And like the little melody of it. Girl by the Internet. Girl was good too. It was. Hold On was good too. I forgot about that. Yeah. So true. Oh my gosh, all good music. There were other artists that I was listening to when I was in college. Thank you, Scarboy. Thank you. Blessings to you as well. Yeah, Hold On by the Internet is just a dope band. I'm excited for them to come back. No, I don't. Christina Steele, I don't know who that is. Tony Braxton. Tony Braxton, I love the, what was the name of that album where she had the red hair and like the black V-neck long sleeve shirt? That one had bangers on it. That was good. But I also love Tony Braxton, How Many Ways. One of my favorite Tony Braxton songs ever. It's so beautiful. Someone put Monica. I love New Monica. New Monica. Shout out to Missy. My favorite Monica song is So Gone. Period. Every time that comes on, I'm like, yep, period, girl. You ate that. She was a living legend off of that track alone to me. Her sister? She said her sister be destiny swapping and doing witchcraft on her. Oh. Her sister? Kelly. I love Alicia Keys too. I love Alicia Keys. One of my favorite Alicia Keys songs is Butterflies. It's such a beautiful record. I love when people have like melodies. I also love Karma. I love that. That was a more up-tempo track. I love India Arie too. India Arie was always on rotation for me. I love Get It Together by India Arie. I love Video by India Arie. Yeah. But like I said, it was just it was a lot of music playing. Like even now, I don't know what's going on with India and Carisha. But I love both of their music. You know, when the City Girls came on the scene, it was a lot of feel-good music and it was fun, it was upbeat. So I don't know, I really just love music. I feel like there's room for each and every genre. There are gonna be some songs that have a message. There are gonna be some songs that have stellar lyricism. There are gonna be other records that are just meant to be feel-good. And there's room for it all. You know? So I don't want there to be like any division when there's so many artists who just bring different yet so valuable bodies of work to the table. So, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, what is happening? Why are they pitting the two against one another? I was like, this doesn't even make sense. But I don't know the context. I don't know if they fell out or whatever. Girl, I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying that me personally, they both are on my personal playlist. Spin That is on my playlist. I like it. Sorry. It's a feel-good track. Hi, Darius. Thank you, Mr. AB. I don't know who that is, Christina. Or you said I can call you Darlene. I don't know who that is, Darlene. Can destiny be swapped if we cut them off and ask God to take care of it? Yeah, I believe that anything as a believer that you take up to God will be sorted out. Only thing that can get in the way is if he gives you clear instructions, or if he removes that person and you bring them back in. Because no matter what, God gives you free will. So when God takes the initiative to get things in order in your life, and if you backtrack or you rebel against it, then I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, once you take it up to God, that's, to me as a believer, that's like the end all be all. So yeah, Falling is like a fan favorite, and You Don't Know My Name by Alicia Keys. Those are all like fan favorites. Do you got any ankle socks, and would you sell them? I do have ankle socks. Would I sell them? No. Adele, before they say we racist, I'm not racist, you guys. Don't do that. You guys ask me what's in my heavy rotation. Don't do that. My favorite rock band, since everybody want to play, Paramore, Decode, Misery Business. See, people think that I don't know about this music thing when I really do. Ironically enough, you guys, Jonas Brothers had hits. Sorry, they did. Jonas Brothers had hits. Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. I don't know, just the instruments on that was crazy. Every time you hear that, it's just like, whoa. And I love the little trend that I was seeing on TikTok where they said like, oh, well, whatever, never mind. I love that. I love that trend. I love when we bring like nostalgic songs back. It brings me joy. Have you guys seen that trend on TikTok? Amazing. I love when we bring, like I said, nostalgic music back. Also, on my TikTok, a lot of the time, and I said this a while ago, I didn't realize that I naturally repost like live versions of music, and it's because I do prefer listening to live renditions of like songs that I love, because I like to hear the instruments as well too. I like hearing the snare, I like hearing the hi-hat, I like hearing the piano, I like hearing the horns, I like hearing the bass, like I love it all. But there was a clip of Scott Storch playing the piano that I reposted on TikTok, and I was like, see, this is the thing about music. It's so powerful, and like people who are really talented, oh my gosh, it's like they lock into a whole other dimension. It's so beautiful to witness. So yeah, like me personally, I love music. So calm down, everybody. It's a lot of different bases that are covered. What kind of songs do you listen to? All types of songs. All types of songs. I do. I love music. Oh, thank you to everyone who liked the live, by the way, as well. Thank you, babes. That sounds like are you trying to have me pass out? Exactly, send the money first. Oh, welcome. Is it Aurelio? Welcome. Oh, you're spamming the comment. Oh, child, bye. Hi, Timothy. I get that often, but you guys, like on my day-to-day basis, when I'm running errands, when I'm out and about or whatever, I don't wear makeup. So like when I get an incentive to do makeup, because I like makeup, I always say this, makeup is a creative expression. So I enjoy it. I like using different colors from different color palettes. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys for everyone's like, you don't need makeup. You're pretty without it. Thank you. Thank you deeply, babes. It's just, I like makeup. Hi, Hybrid Code. Thank you to everyone who's new here. Oh, it's a song for tricking. What, spin that? It might be. Thank you. Your makeup skills is also nice. I keep it simple. I do the same routine every single time. For me, my focus is on glow. And next up is just bronzer and like a coral peachy tone blush, really. And a good lip combo. That's it. My routine, it's very simple. It literally it doesn't take me more than like 15 minutes to do my makeup. It's very simple. Where's, I thought you were saying, where's Miss Breathe Room? I was like, I'm right here. Someone said, can you sing or carry a tune? I'm weak. To me, for me, singing is sacred. I do sing in my church choir though. They found me in the back of the church. You know how crazy that is, that they found me in the back of the church, and I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, babes. Singing is sacred to me. So I'll be like up here playing. No, for real. Hi, Jay New Orleans. Welcome back, babes. It's a pleasure to see you. I used to do soprano. You know, I have a very interesting story. I keep running away from that, y'all. I do. I have so many stories about it. When I was younger, I did choir, and there was a scout, and they were like, we want your daughter to do shows, and I didn't do it. I sat in the back of my church, and they sent me to choir. They didn't send me to the greeting team, the usher board, none of that. They sent me straight to choir. I don't know. I remember one time I was talking to someone and they were like, I play drums. And I was like, oh, okay, that's dope. Like, I love that. I used to do band when I was younger too. And they said, you sound like you have a voice, you have a tone that sounds like you can sing. And I was like, I don't know why people think that. Every time people see me or like they hear me talk, they're just like, you should sing. And I'm like, you've never heard me sing though. I don't know why people, but maybe it is because I do love music and it's all different types of music. So typically like when people like are really, really, I guess, great vocalists, they kind of are a scholar of music at large. Bye, Jay New Orleans. I plan on putting on sunglasses and cosplaying Ray Charles. You know what? Do whatever makes you happy, friend. Why not? I've been self-teaching myself the piano, period. I think that that's dope. I love when people learn instruments. I appreciate that, Jay New Orleans. I'm happy to see you back. Hi, Goated Obama. Is it Dean Doctor? Hi, Dean Doctor. Oh, thank you, Praveen. You seem normal, and I like that. So many weirdo content creators. I am normal. I'm chill. I'm weak. Can people kind of tell with your voice? Yeah, your voice gives that. I don't understand. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of even, but I remember I was talking to someone who played drums and they were like, from the sound of your voice, it sounds like you can sing. And I was like, what? And when I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. I sing sometimes on videos, but I always stop myself. I sing all the time. But for me, singing is sacred. For me. Like I just like to sing. I like listening to this. It takes me to another place. It's like my secret place. So I don't know. But yeah, that was crazy. I was in the back of the church for like months. And then one of the people approached me and was like, can you come to choir rehearsal? Out of all things. I was like, you don't want me on the usher team or something? And they were like, show up to choir rehearsal. And I was telling them, I was like, I work during those days. And they were like, we'll sing you the songs. Miss Read the Room is my Instagram. I think that's normal. Yeah, mimicking the singers, because you're matching their tone when you're singing their record. But some tones, child, I'll be like, that's too high or that's too low. Like Toni Braxton, that's a low register. I can't reach that. Jade New Orleans. What's wrong with you? Why would you say that about the directors? Hello, gorgeous, come sing for the Lord. Pretty much. I was like, what? I was all the way in the back of the church, and like one of the ladies was like, hey, we have choir rehearsal. And I was like, okay, that's what's up. Like, y'all do amazing work. She was like, so we have rehearsals and these are the dates. And I was like, oh, I worked during those days, and I really did at the time. And she was like, no worries, we'll sing you the songs. What's your number? I was like, so am I just gonna not get the lady in the church my number? I'm weak. But yeah, that's how I started singing in the choir at church. I never introduced myself. Then people never like stopped and talked to me, asked for my name or nothing. They just singled me out. It was like, come sing. And then one of the ladies in the choir, it's crazy. I don't know what that's about. But one of the ladies in the choir was like, someone heard you sing. I'm like, I promise you, no one heard me sing. Not a single person heard me sing. I almost don't want people to hear me sing. I know that sounds crazy. Because that's how sacred music and singing is to me. Is that bad? Is that weird? Like, I just like singing to myself. I like singing to myself, singing around the house. I've always been like that. Post shadow work, when I go into set environments like gyms or common places, people stare. I'm weak. What are you saying? What are you saying, Jay New Orleans? What's happening? Not weird. Yeah. For me, like, singing is sacred. That's why I love karaoke, because I always show my true skills there, but I don't like singing around anyone. I think that's what it is for me too. It's like I don't really want to perform. But that's why I respect performers. I do, like, I love seeing other people do it, but for me personally, like, it's sacred to me. Like, when I sing, I go to another place. And like I said, it's more so about me, like, singing and belting out, like, the melodies or the lyrics, or like the matching the instruments in the background. It's like, it's a whole other place that I go to versus like me getting up and performing it. I don't know, but then people at the church said, anyway, bye. We'll see you at choir rehearsal. You can't make it. All right, practice on your free time. Here are the songs, and be here. Shop. Okay, on the dot. I have done karaoke in the past. I have. Just for fun. You know, like singing for fun. But like really belting out. Can you sing then? I don't even care. I sing. I don't even care. I sing in my quiet time because I love music. Oh, I need to go to Houston. I have family in Texas. Can you sing for us? I don't know, Manon. I don't know. Favorite song to harmonize? Ooh. It's so many. I like Emotions by Mariah Carey. All over Texas. I have family all over Texas. Jay New Orleans, please. You're going to scare them. Every now and then I hit a high note around a staring stranger for shock value. You always have me weak in these live chats. Please, Jay New Orleans, you're gonna scare them. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Yeah, that's how they be having me up at that church, Jay New Orleans. I said, I cannot believe these people dug me from the back of the church. I purposely sat in the back and they still were like, you in the choir now. I can't believe it. Oh, I love Ashanti too. My favorite Ashanti record is Rock With You. Keisha Cole too. What? I love singing Ashanti and Keisha. Why would you say that? I thought you were complimenting them. Harmonize, I think Dandelions by Ruth B. I'm not familiar with that. I will have to look into that. Period. I'm singing for the live right now in spirit. My side of Cali, I was born and raised in Sacramento, California. So it was like, Sacramento is laid back until we lean up. Like there's certain sections that get like real crazy. But because I have like family connections really, really deep, in like Sacramento and the Bay Area, I was really comfortable. Like growing up, we were really comfortable. But, you know, I was laid back. I was out the way. Now I had friends who were into certain things and activities, but I was always like the laid back and chill friend. So I never really got into like no crazy stuff. Not Spirit Airlines. What is happening? I had an aunt that lived in Sacramento. Shout out to your aunt. Did she like it? Roger that. What happened with Roger that? I was the chill friend who could also be the wild friend. It depended on the situation. You know what? Balance. Balance in life is very important. We called it Old Sac. No, we just call it Sac. Some people call it Macramento, 916. I'll call it the headquarters because we're the state capital. True. Yeah, balance can be confusing to one-layered people. Thank you for liking the live. When people who knew one layer of me say a different one, they acted like I transformed, but it was clearly situational. Yeah, because different people in different situations will bring out a different side of you. I like headquarters better. Yeah, I always call it headquarters. Oh, thank you, Avocado Brush. I'm glad you enjoyed the content and the messages that I put out. I appreciate you, babes. Happy to have you in the reader community. But yeah, even though like I don't know if I would ever sing to the, but I'm saying that, but like I sing in my church choir now. So, but like singing to the general public, even though I don't know you guys, but I do love music. And instead, if this fills in the gap for you guys, there is a music publishing administrative service. As the librarian lady who's big on publishing and all of that good stuff in business, I got that for y'all, and I put that in the chat for all of my musicians. So I'm here to help y'all with the business tip, so you can accrue your publishing royalties. So I not only have grant writing webinars for people who want to start up their business and secure funds, but also for people in the music business. If you want to learn how to get paid so you can focus on making music, I got you in that regard. Hi, Martin Show King Security. Hello, I love your post about grant writing. It's so important and useful. Yeah, and I was really big on connecting people with an experienced grant writer too. She's amazing. And she was able to provide this presentation. I'm very intentional about also making sure people walk away with a network. Because one thing that I was not vibing from like a lot of the networking events that I would go to like years ago is like people would do a presentation and that was it. And it wasn't really helpful. Versus when we did the webinar, we plugged people to different resources. We gave them like direct application links that they can access and, you know, apply to right away to get grants for their business, whether it be for profit or nonprofit. I don't know. But I'm also big on, a lot of the time people don't give you the sauce because they just don't want to help or they don't know what they're talking about. I'm always shocked at how many people with business dreams that are unaware about grant writing exactly, or grants in general. Grants in general, because the grant writing webinar isn't just for people who want to learn how to write grants themselves. I'm connecting them with an experienced grant writer if they're just like, hey, I don't have time to write a grant, but I'll attend this webinar, become familiar with like what, you know, sponsors, fiscal sponsors look for as far as a compelling candidate, and make sure that I get my business affairs in order in that regard, like my documentation, all of that good stuff. Like we even break down different steps for you to get your registration and stuff in order. Because a lot of the time people come to these webinars and they're like, all I have is excuse me, an idea. And I'm like, okay, here's a checklist. Next time that you come back, or if you reach out to us again, these are the things that you need to get done so you can get things up and running. Because before you even apply for a grant, well, for most grants, you do have to have like registration. And there are certain grants that require you to be like up and running. So to help you with that process, we always give a breakdown on that as well. And we break it down into concrete steps. And we send you the direct links. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm tired. The direct links as far as where you go to get this, where you go to complete this registration. So it's also a very hands-on and interactive webinar as well, which I'm really big on. I don't like talking in circles. So I like providing solutions and answers. And like I said in a couple of lives that I did, or some lives that I did some time ago, right now I think I'm stepping into a phase where I want to start creating those opportunities so I can start bridging the gap. I just pray the spirit of anti-intellectualism is released from people. Every 6 months I go on a journey of educating people on resources. Then once the failure frequency jumps out, I give up. Is there, do you think it's an anti-intellectualism movement? Because I don't know. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people say like, people who are starting up their own businesses and are just like, I don't want to do things the corporate 9-to-5 way. Like we've been taught that the 9-to-5 way was the stable route, or invest in a 401k from your job by working there for 20, 30, 40 years. But a couple years ago, people were like, I went to the Social Security office and they were like, well, you don't have a 401k. And I was like, pardon? I was setting aside money out of my checks for X amount of years for a retirement plan. And you mean to tell me there's no money in my retirement savings? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's how much reality hit people. Like, oh, wow, I probably should have been taking an initiative to make my own investments and to look into other avenues and streams of revenue for myself. And I think people having more of those conversations, or even like us talking about music and things like that, which is why I launched a music publishing administrative service, like musicians and creatives and all of that, us being like, those people aren't going to fit the corporate. Oh, thank you. Thank you, ARS. Thank you so much for the donation, babes. Thank you. So sweet. Wow. But even for people who are creatives and all of that, like them pursuing the corporate 9-to-5 route, that's not the way that it's going to look for them. And when we were having these conversations, or rather starting to have these conversations, there were people blanketing it as anti-intellectualism, or even people who are hands-on, like they like to create things, that's their passion or that's their natural knack, and being like, well, you pursuing higher education through like a formal institution, that may not be required. You may want to go to trade school after high school and start up your own HVAC business or something, you know? And people were like, oh, that's the anti-intellectualism movement. And I was like, that's not what the people are saying. Intellectualism is an umbrella. You know, it's not just gonna look like a corporate 9-to-5 college education route. It's broad. Intellectual thoughts and people go against the view, which makes them defend their beliefs versus seeing the benefit of the new info. Like that. I agree, because I was like, how are people saying, okay, I had to check your temperature, Jay New Orleans, and see like how you felt about it, because I was seeing more so people talk about, and thank you, Jay New Orleans, for the donation. Thank you, babes. I appreciate you. But you know that I always shout you out when I see you in the chats. But I was seeing people have conversations and they were like, oh, this is an anti-intellectualism movement. And I'm like, no, we're broadening the conversation and acknowledging the fact that there are different forms of intellectualism. There are different kinds of intellects. So I don't know. Yes, not everyone needs a master's degree. Sometimes trade school can get you paid a lot of the times. And people don't even know this. For trade school, you don't even need a bachelor's. You go to trade school right after high school. It's a web of things that encourage the downfall of society. I agree. The unregulated nervous system also makes people afraid of the unknown. And you know what? I think that that's tied to the hamster's wheel. Like once you're thrown into the hustle and bustle of work and then just keep running on this hamster's wheel, like you're already out of whack. So the idea of jumping off of that hamster's wheel and stepping into the unknown, I'm sure is even more dysregulating. Like, not to mention we are in a talking point apocalypse where people use buzzwords that don't apply in response to things they don't know. I agree. Because I was like, how are we getting anti-intellectualism movement from these conversations? Wait. As someone who pursued higher education more than once, I was like, I don't understand. I don't know. And I also don't think it's beneficial for people to say, pursue this route for security, because you don't know that. You know how many people were saying, I can't secure a job and I have 3 master's degrees. I have an MBA, I have a PhD, and they couldn't secure a job. It's because there are other, don't get me started on this, y'all. There are other acumens that are required. Do you understand relational acumen? That's why some people, they don't know how to maneuver in a certain spaces. That's why some people don't know how to seize an opportunity or create an opportunity for you. There are going to be some leadership positions that are created or that are preserved for people who know how to create a solution from a problem. A lot of people got their leadership position because they were innovative thinkers. They thought on their feet. They bounced back from adversity. They learned how to work through challenges. That wasn't necessarily predicated upon the tangible breakdown of, I guess, their job description, like on paper. It was based on how well they worked in an environment, how well they moved around challenges. So I made a suggestion about community action for things we complain about online, and I was accused of having white talking points. The person was an avid, oh no, Dr. Umar supporter. You guys don't like Dr. Umar? I feel like Dr. Umar has some good points. I do. There have been a lot of topics where I was like, yeah, that's a good point though. I see so many men online saying they can't find a job, but CDL and TWIC, oh, I'm not familiar with TWIC. Card jobs are begging for people. I've seen it too. But then I see they're chronically online. Yeah. I mean, if you're getting paid from being online, then yeah, being a content creator is a job. But if you're not making this into like a job or a business for you, go pay attention to the opportunities that are out there. Someone said, there she go. Here I am. I don't dislike him, but I don't think someone should base their lifestyle on his recommendations. Dude is one of his, what dude? I train AI for fun. Yeah, a lot of people train AI in this day and age. But how has that been, Jay New Orleans? Because I've been hearing a lot of companies have been pulling back on their AI initiatives because they said it costs more than the return that they're seeing. So how has that been? Thank you guys. You guys are sweet. Because I believe that it would have been a great supplemental tool, but I think like putting all of our eggs in the basket of trying to make it replace like human labor, human intellect, human creative genius, I don't think it was ever supposed to do that. I think that was kind of out of bounds. Now with like mundane tasks, like if you don't want to, retype a 500-page document or whatever, then yeah, you could put in a couple of code words or whatever, like supplemental. I thought that that's where they were going with it. Like, okay, yeah. Especially for people who like, they don't have the time to review those mundane tasks like paperwork, for example. I was like, that makes sense, but trying to replace humans, I don't know. I find that many of the rage bait content creators are militarizing their followers, and it will not end well. Okay. Jesus Christ is the King of Kings, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. He alone is worthy of all praise. Amen. And even when I mention to people how these content creators will encourage people to do things in real life but have no funding if something happens to them. And that's why I'm addressing the funding issue right now. There were a lot of videos that I was seeing, great videos, and people were talking about there are people who don't need more mentors. They need access to capital. They need sponsorships, not mentorships. And I was like, I would have to agree. The issue is the access to capital. People have the blueprint, they have the tenacity and the resilience, but they need to access the revenue to get things up and running. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna start creating those opportunities because a lot of people like to talk in circles, but they don't really provide solutions. I'm sorry, you guys, the layers is kind of like, okay. AI is a double-edged sword. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say that. Those same companies are opening outsourced location in countries where they pay less. Okay, well, yeah, AI is not replacing people. That is fake news fueled by fear of the unknown being used against the public. That makes sense. And maybe the people who like followed that and they took that leap of faith and was like, okay, let's start investing in all of these like AI programs and, you know, tech companies and investors and stuff like that. I'm hearing that they took a heavy hit from that news. But it makes sense though, because to me, AI is kind of like limited. Exactly, Gentleman's Corner. AI can't reason, and reason is important. Like even if we're trying to use AI to do human things, you're still marketing to human clientele, right? Human customers. So a robot can't reason and make sense of things. It's not going to influence and move a consumer or a potential consumer. You need another human being to do that. But I don't know. Like you need someone who's able to think on their feet, pick up on cues, read the room, and a robot can't do that. It just can't. A customer's gonna give a response and be like, you feel what I'm saying? And the AI prompt is gonna tell them things about tactile sensory, because they're gonna take it as you literally feeling an item, feeling an object, and it's just gonna blow everything. You're gonna lose a whole customer messing around with AI. Because you do need, you need human reasoning, and I think that that's something that goes under the radar. And it kind of ties back to what I was mentioning earlier, is it's not just about how well you do a task. But I've been saying this, talking about the power of social etiquette, even before it was a trend. Now it's a trend. Now people are like, girl, we're seeing people get beat up. We've seen a pastor beat up a man for talking crazy about his family. Now y'all are seeing, do not play when it comes to social etiquette in the real world, because you may face a consequence that you weren't ready for. But when I was first putting out those videos and people were like, no, you got to check people and you got to put people in their place, I said, now read the room before you make that blanket statement, because you may be in for a rude awakening. Have couth, conduct yourself accordingly, be respectful. If someone's disrespecting you, that's a different conversation. But you provoking situations because you want to make your dominance felt, or you want to let people know that you're not someone to play with, be careful. But all of those things are tied to relational acumen. And that's a superpower. That's why someone can have the credentials on paper, but in the interview, it didn't go well because they didn't know how to resonate with the interviewer. How many people in HR, the HR department, they were just like, you know what? Even though this person didn't have technically the qualifications that were required, when I spoke with them, they held a conversation. I would give them scenario questions, and I liked the way that they answered it. They had great conflict resolution skills. And for that alone, I'm willing to bring them aboard to the team. Relational acumen and social etiquette is the cheat code. That's going to unlock a lot of doors for certain people. It will also preserve you from the wrong opportunities. It will protect you from the wrong environments. Because being around people or being in an environment that lacks social etiquette is a liability. But, you know, I'm glad though, because we're starting to have more of these conversations. I will say that much. Yes, socially awkward interviews. Yeah, I would agree. Like when you're robotic or it feels like you rehearsed it. A lot of the jobs that I got, it was just, honestly, most of the interviews that I had, it was like laid back. We laughed and stuff like that. We were like, oh, well, how was your day? But it was conversational. And, you know, then people would just give me the job. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. Now, I would have the experience and stuff like that, but I know that that wasn't enough. You have to be able to resonate and connect with people. And I mean, shoot, I do that when I come on here, right? So, hey, I find conflict resolution or lack thereof is usually picked up from the parental caregiver. Really? Ooh, that's interesting. I always asked the interviewer questions they couldn't answer and they would hire me. That's another good one too, asking questions. Yeah, I got that feedback as well. Just with time and like working in different arenas, they said that asking questions is actually a good sign of showing that you're paying attention and you're inquisitive about the kind of work, and you're also showing that you're interested in learning and growing. And for me in the past, I would just be like, okay, well, I don't have any questions or whatever out of respect for their time. But someone gave me a pointer and was like, no, ask questions because it shows that you're interested in learning more about the company or learning how to grow in that respective position. So that is another good one that goes under the radar. People with our level of awareness were often rulers, advisors, teachers, mentors, and etc. Oh, wow. I like that. I just got in the live and I needed to hear what I just heard. Oh, well, look at that. I'm glad that it was helpful. I don't even remember what I said. I started a series about social media decorum. Good. Because I can hear future people saying they never taught me digital footprint in school. Ooh. I remember that era because like when I was in middle school and high school and stuff like that, well, really when I was like super duper young, that's like when MySpace, I was still, we still had MySpace. But then we got Facebook and then we got Twitter and stuff like that. And I just remember how messy it was for a lot of my peers because there was a lot of information that they were like sharing with certain people. And then before you know it, it will be blasted all over the internet. You know, and for content creators, to each its own. A lot of people, you know, them putting their life out there and stuff like that, that is their content, so that's different. But for people who approach it differently, like if you have a strategy behind it, right? Like, so you have a particular project that you want to put out to the general public that they can benefit off of, treat the social media platform accordingly, you know. It should be used as a vehicle to put out information and to uplift people, but getting in too deep, be careful, be careful. I used AI to pass all of my college exams and found a very good job. Did you find a good job with AI, or did you use AI to pass your college exam so that you can get the credential and then market that credential to a hiring manager? Or like, did you use AI to draft your resume? AI is like more for like technical and mechanical, but I doubt that you used AI like a feature or a figment of yourself as like an AI character or whatever during your interview process. That's what we're alluding to. I agree. I don't think a robot can compete with the human spirit and reasoning. I don't. Even when we think about people using different individuals like as a reference for like I guess like an AI template or whatever. Yeah, but a lot of the time people gravitate toward a particular person because there's resonance there. They like that person's energy. They want to see that person in particular perform or speak on something. So I think people really underestimate the power of a person's essence. And that, unfortunately, that can't be duplicated. It can't be replicated, not even by another human being. A person's essence can't be replicated. People can mimic like their style, their flow, their creative ideas, of course. But a person's essence can't be duplicated. It can't. Because it's an inner thing. That's why, if I'm gonna be honest, like, have you all ever witnessed or personally experienced someone take your idea or take someone around you's idea and like they ran with it, like they launched it first or whatever, and you're like, oh wow, but it didn't do numbers. It didn't take off. Versus when you did it, when you had that creative idea to start a project or to launch a business or whatever, it took off. Like for me personally, and I didn't know this about myself, but I have a true knack for marketing, and not like in a, it's a particular niche as far as like conversion rates. I always give this story. When I started becoming familiar with like the publishing process, that was during like a literary crisis. So on paper, it didn't make sense for anyone to publish during that time because most people weren't interested in reading. But now we're seeing a shift where there's a literary resurgence. But you have to learn how to market in a way to where it's able to convert. Does that make sense? It converts to actual return. It converts to actual results. And I didn't know that I had this knack. And it's so funny because I always tell people, like, you wouldn't believe that I went to school for psychology. It's crazy, but literally, like, my calling and my purpose, it's related to publishing, but it's all under the business umbrella. It is. I just know it. I know it. And ironically enough, when I pursued higher education, we had to take an aptitude and a personality test. And during the aptitude test, they actually said, like, my personality is more so aligned with administrative work. And when I first read that, I was like, what? Because I'm there for mental health work. I was like, what? Why does this keep happening? And then I was typing out like an answer for one of the exams that we were taking, and I accidentally typed in CEO. I was like, why would I type in CEO? And about 2 to 3 years later, I went in full throttle with my entrepreneurial endeavors, and it took off running. In the seasons of my life that felt like really stagnant, and I was like, why is it that I'm working so hard, but I'm not seeing the return? It's because when you're not aligned, when you're not doing what you need to be doing or what you're called to be doing, and you're not where you're called to be, God, as a believer, I'm a believer, God will halt the process for you. He will dry the resources up. He will dry the relationships and the connections up until you get back on track. The salt, the light. Someone said we went to high school together. What high school? Oh, thank you. How you're so beautiful, and I love your hair and your eyes. Thank you, babes. I appreciate that. The tool is as good or evil as the person controlling it. I agree. I think AI is just a tool, or at least that's what it could have been. Half of the AI articles are referring to types of AI the public will never have access to or being impacted by. Okay. I found I've become unstoppable when I admitted to myself that I was unstoppable based on past mountains. Worked like a charm. Me too. I believe in being an alchemist in your life. Transmute some of the most difficult challenges, some of the biggest betrayals, the biggest hardships. When you learn how to transmute those things, it's like you become a trailblazer. You can't be stopped. Only thing that can stop you is you, honestly, truly. And I think I locked in with that superpower this year. Like, it clicked for me. I think I was working a lot And I was just kind of caught up in that. I just got to make sure I don't stop. I got to make sure that no matter what happens to me, I don't lose momentum. I keep going. I keep the faith. But I think this year was when it like really stuck with me. Like, I am low-key an alchemist. Like, some of like the craziest things that have happened to me, like since childhood, I've always turned it around. Always. By the grace of God, with the favor of God though, but it's always turned around for my good. And there's actually scripture that talks about how all things work together for the good of those who love him and who have been called according to his purpose. And it's just true. It is true. It is my testimony. Someone said alchemists are unstoppable. It's true. Like when you learn how to alchemize even the most heartbreaking hardships, you can't be stopped. Literally, the only thing that can stop you, only thing that can get in the way is you. Hi, anonymous hip hopper. Spending my early life shrinking myself to keep hyenas happy caused a side effect of self-sabotage and disbelief in abilities, but I'm free. I feel bad for the people who miss out on the power of the Bible because they get their words secondhand delivered. Yeah, like a lot of people even recite scriptures, and I'm like, but that's completely out of context. So that's why I always tell people, when it comes to your personal relationship with the Lord, you have to seek out reading your word, developing that relationship for yourself. Don't depend on other people, because people are limited to their own understanding, and you don't know. You may have more understanding than a particular person because you've been exposed to different situations. So your perspective is a little bit different. You may have more maturity in a particular area than another person. So that's never a second-hand job, that you should always be active and you should always be getting in the passenger seat, because the driver's seat is the Lord's spot. That's the designated spot, but you should always be in the passenger seat. Don't be in the back seat of your personal relationship with Christ. That's non-negotiable. Hi, Cadence. I love that name, by the way. Beautiful name. That's "Look How Money is the Root of All Evil" is a misquote that went viral. I've heard some people say that. A hyena clan attacks you because you're important. I'm weak. True. If you deal with a pack of hyenas, you probably pressure, and you need to keep going. You're very welcome. Cadence is a beautiful name. I agree. Authenticity and essence is hard to fake. Hi, welcome back, Darlene. But yeah, I would have to agree. It is. And even like when people try to discredit you or whatever, like you will always have someone in the background who can resonate, and they're like, girl, don't stop what you're doing. Like, I know, or sir, because it's gender inclusive, but y'all, I always tell y'all, I just always say girl. I could be talking to a full grown man and I'll be like, girl. So like I said earlier, I don't know, but it's with love. Okay. But there's always someone who is like, look, I went through the same thing and I see what you're doing, and don't let it discourage you, because people don't try to discredit someone who doesn't have something going on for themselves. That's another thing to look out for. That's why, tying it back to the title of this live, audacity is important. Never underestimate yourself, especially when you feel that pack coming up against you. And that's a major thing to look out for when people have a deep desire to discredit what you're doing. If you're not building anything of substance, people don't feel the need to discredit it. They're just gonna be like, child, that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But if people want to pass the buck on to the next person, or other people are injecting themselves, and you're just like, what are you talking about? You don't even, this isn't your lane. Like this whole librarian lady thing or whatever, like this wasn't hot. I know for a fact this wasn't hot. I was attending book clubs, and people who were publishing books during that time were saying, it's quiet. Ain't nobody reading right now. I'm finna stop writing for a minute. And the only thing that gave me faith was me being like, I'm passionate about it, and God, whatever happens, happens. I just pray that it's helpful to people. So I know my personal relationship with my purpose and my passions. So if you ever feel like, okay, people are trying to discredit me or whatever, that's where the audacity has to kick in, because people aren't going to discredit something that they're indifferent to, or that doesn't have traction, or at least the potential for traction. That's a whole other conversation. But some people, they could see the potential of what you're building before you can, Especially when you're just getting caught up in the fact that you have a passion for it and you love what you're doing, but you don't see the impact and the magnitude that what you're building has. And that's why I'm always telling people, I was saying this on TikTok live as well, don't compare your life and don't covet what other people have. And this is a conversation that's reserved for like my builders, right? Like when you're called to build something, like a foundation is there, there's substance, there's roots there. And if you get caught up in comparing or competing or coveting someone who is just kind of like a surface level kind of person, you're gonna miss out on a huge opportunity that God is presenting before you. There was a picture, and I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen it, it's like a meme or whatever, where a person, there's two people and they're in a garden. And there's one person who's like super excited because they have a little flower that's blooming, right? And they're like, oh my gosh. And you have the other person who's looking at their side because nothing has bloomed yet. And they're like, you know, their face is downcast, like they're sad. They're like, oh my gosh, like I don't see a little flower sprouting yet. And it's because the roots were so deep. And it's because there was a major harvest waiting for them underneath the ground. That's why it was taking longer for the tangibles to come up. My God. That's why it was taking like longer for the tangibles to pop up above the soil. It's because their roots were deep. By the time they would start to see their harvest, it was going to be a full, you know, garden essentially. It wasn't just going to be a little flower. So that puts things into perspective for, I think, a lot of people who are called to my platform, the architects. I always say this, the architects, the pioneers, the believers. You can't really get caught up in coveting what other people have going on. Because when you're a builder, your process is going to look completely different. Your attention is going to shift from quantity to quality. And honestly, even when you're a builder, with due time, quantity is going to come with it. Once people catch on to what you're doing and once they see like, wow, your blueprint is actually effective. But for the time being, just always, and really forevermore, always focus on quality. Don't chase the quantity aspect of it. Don't compromise your value and your credibility, whatever it is that you're building. Because the reward is going to be great. You know, whatever it is that God is calling you to build, don't second guess it, don't underestimate it. And don't get caught up in what other people have going on. You have motion. And I also was mentioning on that TikTok live, the dangers of coveting what other people have. When you covet where another person is or what they have, and if you mess around and get it, you may not be happy. Because there may be other things attached to what they're doing and where they are that you didn't necessarily want to sign up for. And because people are so fixated on the appearances of things, that's why just, if you're a builder, keep building and stay in your lane, okay? Don't get caught up with the mumbo jumbo and all of that mess. Because see, people who live their life based on appearances and surface level sake, they don't even tell you the real. They've never learned how to face their challenges and face their hardships. So why would you give up something that you're building when the essence of what you're building was you learning how to transmute and alchemize your hardships and your challenges? Do you know how powerful that is? For you to be so locked in with life and for you to know how to take a licking and keep on ticking to where you went through the trenches and you learned how to make lemonade from lemons. Like why would you ever give that up? Do you know how you know how surreal that is? And the testimony in that alone? So don't get caught up in that. Keep building. Yeah, don't ever shortchange whatever it is that God is calling you to build or where God is taking you. Someone said, whatever you say. You know what? Yeah. You know what? Thank you, Jay New Orleans. But, you know, I do have compassion, but I don't like sitting around talking about problems all day. I want to help you find a solution. So I don't really think that I could stay in that for long. I'm going to be honest with you. Like my personality type, it's going to take you about 2 to 3 times coming to me with the same problem. And I'm going to be like, okay, so let's start fixing it. You know? So at the time, because like I was investing my attention on that particular lane, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But as time went on, I was like, oh, wow, like low key, the signs were there, you know? And even if you don't prefer the way that it went down, God will use anything to get you in alignment. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't feel, excuse me, fair at the time. If God allowed it to happen, it's because He's planning to use it. And you know, I just had to be honest with myself. You know, let the chips fall where they may. Child, not the lyrics in the comments. I'm weak. I've given half ideas and the thief failed when they tried to present it. Well, you know, hey, sometimes you gotta throw your enemy off. Someone said, Lord, why is she so beautiful? Well, thank you. God is good. Do we have permission? What do you mean? I don't know. Oh, really? Okay. In habits many have formed around constant internet access will not hold up well if they ever experience a long-term power outage. Ooh, yeah, that's a good point, because how are you going to implement a barter system? In order to survive, like, do you know how to bargain with people? Do you know how to barter? That's another thing. I was talking about this forever ago as well, the dangers of social climbing. I was telling people, don't just blindly trust someone because you feel like they have status or a position of power or whatever, or resources, because you need to be vetting them too. You don't know if they got there on the up and up. But also with the social climbing trope, you may be running away from parasites, but in turn you're becoming one when you're trying to rub shoulders with people who are in a better position than yourself. So you have to be careful with that. And I think a lot of people are just unrealistic when it comes to, you know, relationships and partnerships. Do you have a barter system? Do you know how to barter? Do you know how to bargain? I made another video talking about how there are some people who they constantly are going to plateau because they don't understand, in order for you to increase the scale of your business, in order for you to grow and evolve, you know you're going to need a team. People don't want to hear that though. I don't know if it's because they want to be viewed as like the done data and I do it all, but like the most effective leaders have learned how to delegate tasks accordingly. Another thing about a powerful leader is you know your areas of competence and incompetence. I'm good at this. I don't know nothing about that. So let me go ahead and set aside a budget to bring someone who knows about that so they can get my affairs in order accordingly. I don't know nothing about that. I do not need to impede on that and mess up on something acting like I know everything. My business and the people that I plan to help with my business is too valuable to be playing like that. Like I can always tell, like when I was doing work, like independent contractor work for different businesses in the past, and they would tell me like, oh yeah, like I need help with this, I need help with that. And I was like, okay, well, what's your budget looking like to bring this person aboard? Okay, well, we have the budget set aside. I remember there was one person who I was working with, we had the talent for her ready to assist with her business and everything. And this person was experienced in their field. And we were like, okay, well, have you checked in with this person? They're ready to start working with you and etc. This person never followed up. And I said, you're saying you want help, but you're not ready for help. The help is right here for you. You're not ready for help. And the irony, I was like, and for you to keep trying to run this shit by yourself, you're too disorganized to run this by yourself. Trust me, you need the help, ma'am. When people are talking in circles or they're not presenting you with collaborations and partnerships and things like that, then yeah, you're not obligated to talk in circles with them all day. But what's your excuse when the person is presenting an opportunity? They're presenting the help. They have the collaboration for you. And you're like, this is a fit. This is what I want. Why are you not following up with that? That makes no sense. You're not. I was shooketh. I was like, ma'am, please, please. That's true. We can regret things from 10 plus years ago in peace, but online stuff circulates and researches often. I hear that, but before you do anything, before you say anything, make peace with it. That's my antidote to that. You know, if you have the peace of my heart was in the right place, or I didn't have understanding, or child, I was in a different space or whatever, then you'll be all right. You got to make peace before you do something. You know what's so funny? I recently posted a video talking a little bit about Portia and Shamia. I want to be fair, I don't watch the franchise. So there were some people in the comments saying like, oh, well, there's been patterns of Portia being kind of like, you know, rude or whatever to Shamia and all of that. And what I was describing to them was, what I'm picking up on, and this is the difference though, what Portia is, she makes peace with the fact that, okay, yeah, I made that decision and I have to deal with the consequences of it, so what? Next conversation. I think what's holding Shamia back is she hasn't necessarily made peace with whatever has happened between her and Portia. And I don't know if it's kind of like a deep-seated resentment of feeling like she showed up for Portia in ways that Shamia, or excuse me, she showed up for Portia in ways that Portia hasn't showed up for Shamia. So I don't know what that long-standing history is. Like I said, I haven't watched the franchise. But I am familiar with their dynamic, like clips and stuff that have been circulating for years. And in fact, I actually, in that analysis, I pulled from an older clip where Portia was pretty much like alluding to the fact, girl, start bringing up your wedding, I won't be in attendance. And I gave a story about how I was kind of like the third wheel in a long-standing friendship years ago. And they had a very similar makeup. Their dynamic was very similar to Portia and Shamia. So maybe that's the reason why I was able to give like an objective and neutral perspective. They also had the parental history where both of their parents were familiar with one another and whatever. But what I was alluding to is the fact that when I was younger, I was quick to take the person's side who was like really emotional and was saying like, I'm really hurt that this person doesn't show up for me in the way that I want to show up for them. But now that I'm older and maturity kicked in, I'm like, yeah, but this person was kind of communicating through their actions that I'm not in a space to where I can show up for you in the way that you want me to. And the reality of it is you have to accept people for where they are and the capacity that they have. Because if you're not careful, you will overlook or mismanage the meaningful connections and relationships that are presented to you, where they do show up for you and they do have that capacity. And once we get to a certain point in our life, especially once we become adults, like a certain part of adulthood, if you will, you don't have the luxury of overlooking those cues and mismanaging those situations and relationships without dealing with the consequence of it. So you have to face the music and be like, you know what? But she's been showing me throughout the years that she just isn't going to show up for me in the way that I would prefer her to. So what do I do from here? If I still want to be associated with her, if I still want to be friends with her, I have to learn how to compartmentalize. She's great for me to hang out with and have fun with. She's great for me to bring our kids together and we can have play dates, or we can have a good laugh here and there about, you know, the crazy stuff we were doing in our past, whatever. However you feel that relationship best fits in your life. But if you need someone for that moral support or for affection, for affirmation or whatever, and you're like, she doesn't meet that need, outsource. Who in your life meets that need, and don't overlook them and don't mismanage that connection and relationship. That responsibility falls on us. And the reason why I couldn't necessarily paint Portia as the villain, in all honesty, is when I saw the clip of Shamia bringing up Portia's mom at the dinner. And it wasn't even so much about what was said, because I mean, child, whatever, you know, it is what it is. Whatever. But it was more so the reaction from it. With Shamia, it felt like a dig. I'm not gonna lie, the way that it came across, it felt like a dig, versus Portia's response was very indifferent. So in that regard, it made me kind of raise my eyebrow. Like, I wonder what their dynamic has been like behind the scenes outside of what we've seen on, you know, the reality TV show, or like the clips for people who haven't watched the franchise like myself that circulated on like YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that. So I don't know, my perspective on it was a little bit different, but I also saw a lot of comments where people were like, and I don't even, in all honesty, even though I like Portia and Shamia, but there were some people in my comments saying, I don't like either one of them, but I get where you're coming from. I don't necessarily think that Portia is the villain in this situation. I don't. But I don't know if it's a maturity thing too. Because audacity also looks like you taking accountability for your life. Even if I always tell people this, and this is like a really, really hard pill to swallow and like a difficult thing to grasp, but the sooner that you accept this very, very bitter medicine, the better your life will become. Even if you followed someone else's advice to the T and they impose this counsel onto you, no, you have to follow it to the T. You have to do it like this in order to get this done, X, Y, and Z. Even if you do that, if things hit the fan, you will always be held responsible because it's your life at the end of the day. If things work out, of course they're going to take credit. Yeah, I did give her that advice. I gave her that counsel. But when things hit the fan, you're always going to be held responsible for it. And the sooner you realize that, the more you're going to start taking ownership of your own life. You're going to start taking ownership more seriously. And the easier it's going to be for you to embrace having audacity, whether it was a good decision or a bad decision. Oh, well. And it ties back to what you said as far as like some things resurface. You got to get to a point in your life where you just like, all right, and that's the reason why I brought Portia up. Because Portia got that on lock, whether we are as a collective. Me personally, I like Portia. I think she's funny. And, you know, sometimes, you know, some people may argue she has her ways or whatever, but I don't dislike her. I haven't seen, me personally, I haven't seen anything to where I was like, oh, I'm cool on Portia. I don't know that much. Like I said, I don't watch the franchise. But from what I've seen, the clips that I've seen, very beautiful woman and very funny. Yeah. But the reason why I gave that example with Portia is because Portia has that on lock. She does. As far as like if she made a horrible decision, if she said something that was outlandish, she doesn't, it's kind of like, oh, well. And if she doesn't necessarily want to like address it head on, she'll change the subject. Child, I did it. Okay, whatever. What else? Let's move on. And you may have a different way of going about it. If you prefer to be like, no, I want to take like ownership of what I did and acknowledge that, then that's different. That's a personality difference. Because for me, I'm big on that. Like if people come to me, I'll never forget this. Years ago, there was a friend of mine and they gave me some truth, and it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it was a warning as far as like, don't do this. If you do this, you're gonna regret it later. And as time went on, I remember I told some other people, like some other friends of mine, and they were like, oh, that person is just being negative and da-da-da, and I had to cut them off. And I said, actually, they weren't though. That was good advice. I wanted it at that time, and when I followed their advice, and I was like, you know what, something in me is telling me they're not speaking from a place of malice and competition. I feel like they're telling me the truth. I feel like this is a warning. And I took heed to the warning. And then as time went on, things were revealed. And I was like, I'm glad that I didn't let pride and my own error get in the way of me taking heed to their instructions. I had to tell them, no, I was in the wrong. At first, like I thought I wanted that, I wasn't right, and they were right. I had to tell them that, and this was someone that I love and care about, and they were riding for me, and like, no, that person was just being negative. I said they weren't though. They told me right, and they were like, oh, and I was like, yeah. So I'm the kind of person where if I kind of like made a misstep or whatever, I'm like, I'll take that on the chin. I told y'all that with the, you know, when I was pursuing the wrong path at first. Like at first, I was mad about the way that it went down. But in actuality, when I think about like my personality type and my passions and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, but it needed to happen though. God used that as a step stool to get me back on the path that he intended for me to be on. So, hey, you know, the sooner you take ownership of your life, the easier it's going to be for you to move with audacity. And that also looks like you taking the good with the bad with the good. Okay, yep, that happened. All right, let's move on. And it also, how can I put this? You'll learn how to make peace with your past too. Of course, I didn't know better, or rather do better at that time. It's because I didn't know better. Now I know better. So it's a matter of how you approach it and what you do with it. Like I said, you know, for me personally, transmutation is big. It's big for me. I don't think there's ever been a hardship or whatever that I didn't transmute into some kind of project or creative endeavor. So I don't know. Hi, Remy. Oh, thank you, Yash. We still do Rico sweeps. So we don't even respond to the trolls, in all honesty, babes. Oops. Sorry, you guys. I don't know. I'm trying to press on my phone. Someone said I'm looking at a T person. Thank you. 17 more likes for 100. Thank you, guys. And anyone more than needy can never go where I'm at. Oh, okay. What's going on, Jay New Orleans? I just got here, but whoever did your hair did a fantastic job. Thank you. I did it. I also side-eye people who live glamorous lives on reality TV because their funds always come out. I kind of feel bad for that, though. I do, because, well, in the publication, all strings attached to Queen's Quarrel. What is going on with my chat, you guys? Give me 1 second. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's my charger. Ugh. Can I even take the charger out? Oh, it says I can't load menu or anything. I don't know. Yeah, hold on, let me try to unplug this. See if it just needs to. Girl. I don't know though. I do feel bad about that aspect, because in the publication All Strings Attached to Queen's Quarrel, it does talk about how sometimes people feel pressured to keep up with the Joneses. And I don't know if sometimes they feel like they have to put up a particular image in order for them to even get like a spot on the show, or if their colleagues, you know, if they feel like their colleagues won't get off their back, for lack of better words, if they don't present in a particular way. Because let's be honest, for the most part, when we see a lot of those clips, it's very catty, and like people are picking apart a person's appearances and their items and things like that. So I wonder if some of it is kind of like pressure to keep up with the Joneses, to receive like just some kind of respect or decency from their colleagues or the people who are watching them. But if you're able to put your ego and stuff to the side, just play it cool. You know, even if you securing things, even if you doing something like, you know, making moves or whatever, just celebrate off the grid, you know. Shamia cried like my sugar friends cried. Oh, when I stopped funding them financially or spiritually. Oh my goodness. You know what? When I saw that clip of Shamia crying, and I was like, sis, but you brought up her mama though. Like, what's going on? I didn't know what was happening with Shamia. That wasn't even me being like insensitive. I was like, what is going on with Shamia? Because Shamia is also really beautiful, and I think a lot of people do like Shamia. A lot of people's argument was like, oh, well, she's technically the only real housewife, and she's always been the more successful one out of the two. I'm like, okay, that's subjective. I believe that Shamia definitely has like a background in like music and acting and stuff like that. And Portia has been known as the housewife, but something else, in my opinion, is going on with Shamia. And the vibe that I was getting was more so like Shamia gives me affirmation is really important to her, and I think that's why with Portia it works out to her benefit, is because she doesn't necessarily need affirmation from other people because she's going to affirm herself. That's the vibe that I'm getting, and I think that's what Shamia is kind of like yearning for when it comes to Portia. And maybe even her doing like that, I don't know, that sit down with the castmates or whatever. Even when we think about the sit down that she did with Candy and all the other girls about her wedding a couple of seasons ago, I think it was like a cry out for help for Portia to like care in the way that she cares, and Portia just doesn't. She doesn't. She does not care in the way that Shamia cares. And ironically enough, I think that that's given Portia social capital. And I feel like it might confuse Shamia a little bit, because she's just like, but you're not showing up for me in the way that I'm showing up for you. So I don't know. I'm getting a different vibe from it, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. Because I think her crying was more so I feel like she walked away from that interaction feeling like she was still missing something. That's why she got emotional. Even when she threw that out about Portia's mom, I think she was trying to get something from that, but it didn't land because Portia is indifferent. So I don't know if with Shamia, it's like a cry out for help. I don't know. I know Shamia's husband is very serious about her having a boy for him, even with all her prior complications. I think Portia may practice anger management, so she shuts down in situations where her emotions can rise. Because, yeah, I mean, I have a whole video talking about the art of provocation, and it was about the interaction between Kenya and Portia. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when you've had an experience where your emotions were weaponized against you, and it caused you to lose, or it caused you, to lose an opportunity. And now like you're in a different space where you're just like, I can't even misstep because I know that they're going to try to weaponize that against me. That's why I was kind of like, where exactly were we going with that? Like that mom comment. I don't know. The way that I looked into it, it was just, I don't know, y'all. But I agree with you. So maybe the reason why Portia didn't respond a particular way is because she's like, I already have experience with being on this platform and my missteps being weaponized against me. So she had to learn almost like how to develop super duper thick skin. And this is Shamia's kind of like it's not her first go around at it, because she was like a +1 to the show. And if I'm not mistaken, is this her first official season as like a castmate, an official castmate, or is it like her second? So she's learned the ropes a little bit, but she's not like a vet like Portia is. And that was another argument that I made too, is like, as a friend, or at least the way that I operate, I don't have a desire to impede in my friend's territory. I don't. And some people are just like, oh, well, why wouldn't you? Because I have my own identity. It's different if we organically met, like doing the same work or whatever, but I feel like that's even established on a different footing. I've seen more tensions arise when people befriend someone and say, for example, one person is interested in being a nurse, the other person is interested in becoming a lawyer. And after a couple of years, your friend who first started off doing nursing is like, oh, I see you're being super successful in the legal field. I think I want to start that too. And now you're like, what? Like, you were doing great as a nurse. What would cause you to switch that? I've seen more tensions arise in those cases, where you have like one friend or both friends trying to merge into the other person's lane, rather than you guys like be like, no, you have your thing over there and I have my thing over here, and I respect that. And I was saying this a while ago when I was able to do more coaching sessions, when I had more time. For a lot of the people that I would speak to, I would let them know, like, when you're choosing friend groups or whatever, especially if you're experiencing tension in the workplace or in a professional setting, and you realize you're being ostracized and people are trying to like make you feel othered. They're using your ideas though, but they don't want you to get credit for it. Outsource. Especially if you feel like that lack and you want alliances and friendship and things like that, outsource. Try to find friends that are complementary. So if you are interested in being a lawyer, rub shoulders with people in, you know, the medical field. If I'm gonna be honest, let's be honest, we have to start being real with the circumstances that are being presented to us. Ideally, yes, you will want a friend who's able to occupy the same lane as you or be in the same field of work as you and it not become competitive. But in most cases, it doesn't happen like that. It becomes competitive when you guys are merging into one another's lanes. So for me personally, my first argument was I feel like Shamia probably shouldn't have went on the show. And there was a couple of comments that I was seeing, and I'm gonna catch up on the notifications for those of you guys who watched and commented. I'm sorry, you guys, it's just I got really busy. Because I also did like a content video from my beauty channel for a collab. But I'm gonna be responding and all that soon. But I did see one comment, I got the notification and they were just like, I agree with you. I think it was the beginning of the end when Shamia became an official member of the show. Considering the show's history of sabotaging friendships, sabotaging relationships. And I was like, I agree 1,000%. Like, I'm glad that there are some people who see what I was trying to convey in that analysis. Like, if you really value your friendship, if you really value your romantic relationship, your family relationship, or whatever, is going on the show that important? You becoming a castmate or a cast member, is it really that important? The moment that I find out a loved one or a friend or whatever of mine is doing their own thing in a particular lane, I don't want to merge into that. I want you to have that for yourself. You're interested in the medical field of nursing. I'm a root for you from the sidelines. I don't want nothing to do with that. You're into cosmetology and doing hair and all that. I'm a root for you on the sidelines. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want to embark on that lane. I really don't. There have been so many instances where people be like, oh, well, I got an opportunity for you. I do work, but because I value the friendship and the connection so much, I'm like, no, that's your thing. That's really how I stepped into the business lane. And I was just like, just creating an opportunity for yourself off of your own passions. And by the grace of God, I was able to do so. But there were so many people who were like, girl, my workplace is hiring and da-da-da. And I was like, nah, I want you to do your thing. Like, I'll wait for an opportunity to find me for the time being. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on building. And like I said, by the grace of God, through me building and like on my own business affairs and, you know, entrepreneurial endeavors, it ended up working out. But I think it ended up working out because that's the path that's meant for me. But also, the incentive was just simply me declining certain offers because I was like, nah, I value our connection and our relationship too much to potentially jeopardize it by me merging into what you're doing. That's my mentality. That's the way that I think. And it's because I value other people having their own identity, and I really, really value having my own. Even if my path looks a little bit different, even if I had to go through a couple of bumps and bruises along the way to figure it out, I prefer that. Thank you, Cadence. Welcome back. I want to do mentorship and tutoring, but I would have a serious vetting process. Yeah, I'm not mad at that because I think that there are good mentors out there, despite me talking about like malicious mentors and things like that. But if you feel called to mentoring, there's room for you. In all honesty, with us identifying the malicious mentors, now we need, you know, healthy and mature and stable mentors to take their place. So I say get into it. I would do horrible on a reality TV show. I would look into the camera, the office style. I would just call everyone out on their fakeness all the time. You know, the people who always get the jacket of there she go, walking away again. Y'all, that would be me. They would call me Road Runner. That would be in the little parentheses of my reality TV show name. The Road Runner with quotation marks. Because every time you come to me with that foolishness, especially when people start to really put it on thick for them cameras, and I'm like, but I just talked to you on the phone last night though, and you were begging and pleading for me not to take it there with you when he's okay. So now I'm gonna just leave, because if I mess around and I slap you in front of these people, then I'm gonna be painted out as the bad guy. So let me grab my purse and let me exit stage left. They will call me Road Runner. Or if people like if people thrive on like the suspense of who said this about this person, da, 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 I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna be like, oh, who told me that? You told me that. You on this day, on this time. And I think with reality TV, you kind of have to play a game a little bit, right? Man, why would you ask me that? Ma'am, why would you ask me that? Why would I have an issue with you? What, unless you do something wrong to me, no matter how you identify. Unless you do something wrong to me, I don't have a dog in that fight, baby. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't hate you. I don't have a problem with you. Unless you come up here talking crazy about me, then we got an issue, then we got a problem. It's like how in the wild apex predators are always near their prey. It's true. It's true. What I learned is that any area where vulnerable people are, there are always what? How do you say that word? Malevolent figures? Malevolent. Hold on, hold on. Let me see how it's spelled, because maybe the words are jumping on my screen. Someone said a nice streamer, finally. People have been mean to you because of how you identify. Oh, Ma, you being a hater, talking about some you serve her or something. No. Jay New Orleans is a frequent, and we have a lot of great conversations in the chat. I've experienced horrible people and would never bring up their family or outsiders in a discussion about us. Family is off limits. I had a horrible falling out, multiple with the homegirl of mine, but I had so much respect for her parents and really her mom. Like her mom even would like talk to me off the record and be like, I mean, hey, I still be asking about you. I still have love for you. Cause you know, why would you bring the mama into, I don't know, y'all. I can't, I don't know about that. When I saw that clip, I was like, oh, Shamia. Like I clutched my pearls. I was like, you brought the mama into it? Why would you do that? I'm not gonna lie. Cause I don't understand, where did that come from, Shamia? And even everyone at the table was like, it felt like she was waiting to like empty the clip on her, like with that information, and everyone was like, it was out of context, though. You should have kept that to yourself. We didn't find that to be tea. It's to this day, like it's not really tea for everyone else who watched that clip, whether it be you tuned in or you just, for most of us, seeing the clip circulate on social media. And was like, why did you bring her mom up in that though? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't. And even certain things about my friends, even if we had a falling out, and maybe that's why like it never really got messy with the friends that I have and that I've had over the years, when we would have our disagreements, and sometimes it would be like spurts of us not speaking to one another, like prolonged periods of us not communicating or anything because we were so mad at each other, but we never aired one another's secrets or business out on social media or to like other people. No. Secrets or shortcomings that you shared, like it stayed on lock. So I don't know, that took me, that threw me, y'all. It's her second season. Yeah, so even with it being her second season, she doesn't have like veteran experience like Portia. So maybe that's the difference. Is like Portia has learned and has earned bumps and bruises as far as like things that are really sacred to me. I'm not getting into the nitty gritty of that on this show, whatever I value. So if it looks like I'm coming off as standoffish or I'm not talking about it enough, I'm not opening up, it's because that's reserved for me. I don't want to step into those waters because I know how this show and how this platform will weaponize that. And I don't know if in Shamia's case, like she's still operating off of like raw emotions. I think after a while with you being in that kind of environment, you naturally adapt to like being strategic with what you share, who you expose to the platform, how you expose to the platform. Okay, these are the people in my life. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if Shamia is still kind of coming into it like putting it all out on the table. And I'm not sure if that's a benefit to her. And I feel like Portia understands that, but Shamia, it hasn't resonated with her yet, at least that angle and that perspective. Because that, you all's family history, how you all's mothers got down, and like the tit for tat that your mothers had with one another that you guys knew about and would talk about like with one another off the record, that wasn't a place to air out, for one, amongst a group of women who you guys really aren't associated with like that. They're your co-workers technically. And two, on national television. Because why, like, opening up that can of worms was dangerous for you too, because how do you not know that Portia didn't have something in the clip as well? And why would you put your own mother in a vulnerable position too, which is what happened. Portia was like, okay, well, since you want to play like that, I was shocked because my mother told me your mother did X, Y, Z. Like, why would you open up that can of worms there? That, if you guys were gonna have that knockout, drag out argument, that camera's off and just you both having a sit down at lunch or brunch or dinner. I don't know. I agree, Jay New Orleans. I'm catching up on the older comments. Friends of the show for a long time always give a culture shock when they become cast. It may be their true self, but people see it as forced. Yeah, and you know what? There's a saying that goes, pressure busts a pipe. And some people can't carry that pressure. And you know what? That's a conversation for another day. But it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. That's why you can't focus on what other people have going on, because you may be coveting or wanting something or feeling like you're missing out on something, but you don't know the burden that comes with it. And that's the vibe that I'm getting from Portia, is she knows the lay of the land when it comes to the reality TV game, because she's earned her stripes. Bad decisions where she handled it more constructively. So there's a level, it's interesting because even though it's reality TV, there is a level of reservation that's required in order for you to even become a vet. You have to learn the art of reserving your reaction, reserving your emotions, and reserving details of a situation that you're not ready to disclose yet because it's still sensitive to you. You even have to master the art of disclosing a quote unquote sensitive topic or situation that's not really near and dear to your heart right now. It was a challenge, but you're in a better space, so you're able to discuss it. Versus something in your life that may still be difficult for you to discuss, you're not discussing that on this season. You're not ready to dive into that right now. And Portia is carrying herself in that way as someone who's learned that. Because there's no shortcuts. Versus Shamia, I don't think she's in that space, which makes sense because those are the kinds of lessons that, I hate to say it, you kind of got to go through with experience. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Peace Lab. It's integrated for the culture of many people, so they feel an unconscious obligation to fulfill it. I wish financial literacy was as powerful as luxury. You know what? I do like luxury though. And one thing that I'm big on, especially on my beauty channel, is like providing people with resources where they can like access affordable luxury. But I don't think that having nice things or even like experiencing quote unquote nice things or whatever, you don't necessarily have to put them on a pedestal. It's just a part of life. And I don't think that it has to merge into you wanting to keep up with the Joneses either. It's not that serious. Just enjoy the nice things when you have access to them and keep it pushing. I don't know. For me, if I get it, I like it as a gift. That is one thing about me though, is I get a lot of gifts. I do. And it's typically like, you know, nice gifts. But I think the reason why people do that is because they know, for myself, I don't really splurge. I don't. The things in my life that are expensive, they are all gifts. I'm not gonna lie. But luxury is also subjective though, because I think like indulging on a spa date, going to a really, really nice 5-star restaurant, taking trips, those are all forms of luxury. And I think that that's an extension of self-care. Even for people who do splurge on themselves, I do believe that that's an extension of self-care, but do it because you enjoy it and not because you want to keep up with the Joneses. That's the difference. You shouldn't care to keep up with the Joneses. That's just, it's ridiculous. Who cares? Who cares? Be happy, be at peace with your own life. Oh, really? Your friend sounds like they defended the advice because she felt a secondhand threat from the advice. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Reality shows always speed up the demise of long-term disconnections. I agree. Ooh, how do you rebuild your self-concept after a 5150 group attack? Ooh, distance. The moment that you separate from them, things are going to become better for you and you're going to get more clarity. And do not stay in hermit mode for too long. Hermit mode is meant for you to recover and reflect on why you were attracted to that group. What about that opportunity was even appealing to you? What were you searching for? Also, why you stayed as long as you did. Reflect on all of that. Afterwards, get back out there again. I don't believe in giving advice like, oh, go into hermit mode. Not when you've been exposed to that kind of trauma, like from a group or from a collective. I encourage you get back out there. Because when you're attacked, typically like from a group, it's because your purpose is tied to an audience. 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you. Whether it be you're meant to do seminars, webinars, or something, when you are attacked on a group level or you're meant to be a content creator, your voice is meant for like a group of people, a mass group of people, the masses in some way. It can be like on a smaller scale or a major scale. Like I said, it can even be like you're a webinar speaker or you're meant to do presentations or whatever on a specific topic. A lot of the time when you are attacked by like a group or a collective, it's because your purpose is tied to that. You will only get wounded the most in areas that God is going to use you with great impact. Spiritually, that's the way that the enemy works. Wherever you're getting attacked with the greatest impact is where God is going to use you the most. Your purpose and the people that are assigned to you, they're attached to that specific mantle. So I would encourage you, after you dedicate some time to reflect and to recover and figure yourself out and rebuild, get back out there. Just this time, be strategic as far as who gets proximity and access to you. And from there, I can guarantee you, you'll soar. I'm living proof of it. Okay. Like I always say, I speak from a place of reality, not theory. Whatever I speak about, I've earned my bumps and bruises along the way. And that's why I always say, like, what's most important for me is people feel me. People feel where I'm coming from. Even when people read the publications that I talk about and they're like, whoa, it took me to this encounter, it took me to this place. Like, I pray for it to be that, how can I describe it? That personable and that intimate. I want you guys to feel it, you know? I want it to resonate that deeply. So I'm really intentional about that. If there's anything that I'm talking about, it's because I went through it first. And I think that's the reason why it hits the way that it does. It's because there wasn't any shortcuts. You know, there weren't any band-aids. We had to air the wounds out. You know, it was hard and it was hurtful. But it is what it is. It all plays a part. Thank you. That's true. And others see success as a reminder of their failure subconsciously, but consciously they attribute their disdain to something else. They try to. Girl, God put you on my For You page, new subscriber. Look at that. Amen to that. Crystal Thomas. Welcome to the reader community, babes, if you're still rocking with me. Because I've been on for a minute. People who are not regularly exposed to success are unable to handle seeing success. Yeah. It's true. And success is not just limited to the tangible. Spiritual success, relational success. Some people will resent you because you know how to relate to people and resonate with people. So that's another thing. That's why they'll try to ruin your reputation and isolate you, is because that's where your power lies. You know how to connect. That's why I tell people, don't just follow buzzworthy trends and topics. The villain trope may not be for you because that's not where your superpower lies. You resonate with people. You connect with people. When people see you, they feel you. They're just like, there's something about your energy that feels warm. Do you know, like, in the real world, when you're in a room with someone who has that off-putting energy, that those people, opportunities are blocked for them. So if you're someone who has a warm and inviting essence, why would you not lean into that? The only issue is you have to learn how to set boundaries accordingly and utilize your discernment, so the wrong people don't get access to that warmth. But that's not something about you that needs to be compromised or taken away. That's a superpower. People feel drawn to you. Like, that's why certain people, they don't realize this. Their warmth is why they have a following. There are other people who talk about similar topics and things like that, but the reason why they're called to you is because they're like, you feel warm. You feel like home. I feel like when I talk to you, I'm having a conversation with my homegirl, or like my friend or something like that. Like, why would you compromise that? That's your superpower. But I mean, everyone's gonna tell you though, that aspect of yourself makes you miserable and you're lying to yourself. That's, I mean, if that's what you have to tell yourself, then so be it. No, I'm not miserable. My life is great. Like, come on now. Yeah, people just be saying all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, my life is not miserable. From being warm and being a pleasant person. Why do you, I'm able to connect with you guys and have conversations and things like that because of that. No, I'm not miserable. That's how, well, by the grace of God, first and foremost. But secondly, like, me being warm and all of that is how I'm able to even build and connect with my community. Like, that's crazy to me to even think that, but to each his own. OMG, exactly. Or you were not ready for what you're praying for, something that you are not prepared for. The way that, I don't know, the way that my life works, God won't give me what I'm not ready for. God has always used patience. If there's a key element that's missing, if he's like, no, you need to develop thicker skin before you get here, or I need your discernment to be a little bit sharper before I give you this opportunity. That's why, like, have I talked about this on a video yet? Probably on my faith channel, The Remnant Room, where, yeah, that's where I talked about this, where I said that sometimes God will have you wait and he will delay something that you really want, because by the time you mature and you develop, you'll realize you don't even desire that thing anymore. So it's not even a matter of like God needs to make you more skillful in an area, or he's clearing the way from bad people and stuff like that. God is like, no, you need to become who I need you to be, so you will realize you don't even really want this. Who I'm going to call you to be and who you're going to become, like what you're going to evolve into, you're not even going to desire this. There were so many things that I thought I wanted, and I was like, wow, that was a foolish desire. Exactly. I love that, Jay New Orleans. One was growing potatoes and the other was growing beans. They sprout differently. Bingo. Well said. Exactly. Yes, girl, that's the truth. You cannot compare with other people. It's not your story, that's theirs. Exactly. And you don't want to miss out on who God is calling you to be. You don't know who God is calling you to be. It's going to blow your mind more than you trying to focus on what other people have going on, or if people are critiquing you, oh, I don't like the way you do this and I don't like the way you do that. Yeah, but I like the way that I do it. And the people who are called to whatever it is that I'm building and who find it useful, they like the way that I do it. And I don't want to miss my purpose. I don't want to miss my potential listening to what you have going on. Where it's apple and oranges right now. We can't really compare the two. It's two completely different fruits. Ooh, I love that. I read 60 plus books per year on average. I read in waiting rooms, waiting for pickup orders, and at the airport. I love that. The other day I went to go and get a mani-pedi, and there was a guy walking by and he had a book in his hand. I said, that's right. The literary resurgence is happening. And just like 3 years ago, it was crickets. So I don't know. So keep building. Don't get distracted by the outside chatter and the naysayers. You don't know why God is calling you to build. Well, if you're a believer like myself, you don't know why God is calling you to build when he's calling you to build. Ironically enough, it's making me think about the story of Noah and the ark. When Noah was building that ark, everyone was like, child, please, you look crazy. Then it started raining, and then people said, oh, wait. That flood came, and they said, wait a minute. Wait. So, believe in your path, trust in your path. Regular people mistake business for building. Ooh, but when regular people don't build on a purpose, they end up chasing someone else's. Bingo. Facts. I took a catastrophic loss back to back, but at the same time, God has put me in rooms that align with my purpose. I favor in rooms people in my industry would DIE for, and I'm barely standing. If you're meant to be there, God will give you the grace to sustain. I don't mind, girl, because I always prefer, or I always reply with, if I were a boy, even just for that, I'm weak. It just amazes me how the people who misquoted are always so sure of themselves. The true quote is, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith yet and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But people, you gotta lock in with the Lord for yourself. Oh, thank you, Cadence. My family is hyenas. I'm weak. No, Jay New Orleans. Exactly. Wonkaredo, a hyena clan attacked you because you're important, and it's true. It's true. You belong in the house with your tribe being set apart, reacquainted with the Messiah. I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't like that energy. I find people who group think see anything that takes them from the group as a threat. Yeah, because I mean it does challenge the status quo. Because following the group is kind of safe. Hi Bree. Amen. Jesus loves you too. 100 likes. Shout out to you, Jada Rollins. You called it. Thank you. People always end up sharing their life with me and ending what I don't know why I just shared that much. Me too. No, I didn't, Toddy. Why do you're finna go because you're trolling. Good morning, Jana. Me too. Like people will open up to me and like sometimes I'll go to workplace settings and like one time I was speaking to an attorney and they were telling me all about like the attorney T. They were like, that guy over there, he's the worst and da-da-da. And we were just laughing and having a ball. Like we were cracking up. And mind you, these were like serious legal matters. Like I can't even lie. But we were just having a good time. Like, so if you have that energy to you, if you're warm or whatever, why would you compromise that? Like that's your superpower. You know how much like fun and how much favor I experienced because I was just like laid back and funny and cool. I was getting a service done and they're a phenomenal team. I'm sad that because I was like, it's like an extension of family now, but we've been working together as a collective for a couple of months at this point. And one of the people during our wrap-up sessions was just like, and you've just always brought great energy here no matter what you were going through. Like no matter what. And we know what you were going through because we were assisting you with this. That's the reason why you sought out our services. But no matter what you went through, you always brought good and positive energy. So I don't know, why would you give that up? And I actually think of people who have that about them, they have that essence and energy to them. They're oftentimes attacked in this area. That's why like before you step into that like season where God is like, this is the reason why I made you this way, you will be attacked so much in that arena. People will try to like turn you cold and jaded. And that's why I've always told people when I talk about jealousy, when I talk about envy, when I talk about predatory personalities, it's not for you to become jaded. It's for you to learn how to vet out the bad so you make room for the good. Like my ministry has never been designed to be juvenile. I want you guys to learn about toxic people so you can get rid of them and you can make room for the healthy relationships and the productive partnerships. So don't throw in the towel when God isn't finished yet. That's purposeless. Like don't do that. As someone who also speaks from experience and facts, I notice many speak from feelings and assumptions. Yeah. Thank you, 969. Thank you. I feel like splurging on yourself all of the time isn't healthy, but every now and then I feel it's because you're not normalizing the high of getting yourself something. Yeah, I mean, to each his own. Like, if you have a problem, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But if you just do like a little bit of splurging, I don't think that that's bad. It's a cutesy little moment. I knew a chick working 3 jobs to keep a soft girl luxury aesthetic for social media and for popular locals. I mean, I don't know about that. If you get paid from the soft girl life luxury content, that's different. But if you are spreading yourself thin for it, go to the clean girl aesthetic. Go to the clean girl, the girl next door aesthetic, child. Do not, please, it's not that serious. Please. It's almost like some people consume luxury like an addict. consumes drugs. I believe shopping is actually a form of an addiction and a vice too. So that's why I was like, you guys do have a point. Sometimes it can kind of merge into like something that's unhealthy. And they have the same hold as an addict, like in a reckless manner. Yeah. Luxury isn't the problem. The way people prioritize it to the point of having luxury vehicles while in dangerous neighborhoods and no life insurance. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is intense. Okay. I feel that. I feel that. Because for me, the neighborhood has always been more important. And like being comfortable and things like that, that's always been more important than maybe like the external expenses. You got a point. I never looked at it like that, but I just thought that was my personality makeup. Like, ideally, I just want to be comfortable as possible. I just like to be comfortable. Yeah, okay. I see where you're coming from, Jay New Orleans. I didn't know that people moved like that. The other women stirred it up and Shamia disclosed things to them last season. See, groups involved in relationships rarely and amicably. And I think that Portia picked up on, I know how these girls get down. And I think that's why she kind of came off as maybe a little cold. I also got the vibe that like, it felt almost like a battery was put in Shamia's back, or like someone planted a bug in her ear that may not have been fitting for her and Portia's situation, at least not the entirety of it. No outsider can give you advice regarding a connection that you and another person has. When in my last live, I think that's where I shared the story about how like I literally had to check somebody for injecting themselves on a phone call that I had with a relative with a loved one. And they heard them raising their voice in the background. Mind you, they were both occupying the same space. And me and this person, we were having a disagreement. I was honest about that. But this person who was in that environment is them. They injected themselves in family business and picked up their phone and was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Because they were like screaming from afar. And I was like, who is that? Who is that? Like, I got mad, y'all, I did. And I was like, you need to make yourself known. Because yes, I'm finna check you. And they immediately started to back down, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and da-da-da. And I was like, don't you ever do that again. And they were like, oh, I'm the same way when it comes to my family. And I'm like, if you really were, you wouldn't have did no foolishness like this. You don't ever inject yourself into family business. And for me, like, other relationships, like intimate relationships that I have, and yes, friendships are included in this conversation too, as well as like familial and all of that. Don't you ever in your life meddle in family business. Don't you ever when it comes to me. Because you can't speak to me. Just like how I gave the example about how there was one person who was close to me and they were like, oh, that person is giving you bad advice or whatever. And I was like, you don't know this person like I know this person. No, so you can't speak on that. No, they actually weren't. They weren't giving me bad advice. That was sound advice, if I'm going to be honest. But when you really rocking with your people, right? So you know when they're on some BS. You know when you're on BS. You guys know that, though. So it should have never been a situation where someone was able to plant a bug in your ear about a person that you've been rocking with. You just now met these people. They can't speak on nothing regarding your relationship and your friendship. If I'm being honest with you, they can't speak on nothing. Even if we have our ways and we have our outs or whatever, they can't speak on that. They don't know the ins and outs of that. So they can't plant a bug in your ear. That's why I said I'm not necessarily getting I didn't feel led to say like one person was jealous over the other and things like that. I can't say that. Instead, I got the vibe of like, this is a long-standing history issue. Especially with the mom and stuff being brought up. I was like, yeah, this sounds like it's deeper than the cattiness that was initially being presented maybe to Shamia. But I will say this, I think that it was a bad play on her part to bite the catty bait. I do. Anybody who planted a bug in your ear about, well, I don't know about Portia, and I don't know if she been acting weird, but they can't necessarily, you have to feel that way. You have to come to terms with that and be like, you know what, I personally feel, don't ever let someone influence you or plant a bug in your ear with someone that you've been rocking with for decades. Are you crazy? No. But see, that's why audacity is so important, because see, you could stand firm on that. If me and this person are having a falling out, we sorting that out. If I make an executive decision of, I'm not cool with this person right now, but we'll sort that out on our own time. You have to have audacity even when it comes to your relationships and your connections, and you have to check people who have the audacity regarding your relationships and your connections. You got to step back on that one. I told that lady quickly, I said, get him back the phone. Don't even do this with me right now. Get him back the phone. When she tried to inject in family business, I said, give my family member back the phone. What are you doing? You sound crazy right now. And then try to smooth it over. Girl, you know, I'm sorry, girl, because I'm the same way when it comes to my family. Give them back the phone. I snapped, I did. Because, girl, this is an A and B conversation. See your way out of it quickly. She did. She immediately was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm the same way. I said, get him back the phone. I don't want to hear nothing else from you. You said, girl, go sit down. And you got to have that kind of audacity when it comes to your people, too. I helped my sibling get into photography and now tries to use my personality and traits to social climb. Boston validating me. He encouraged me to stop photography even though it's my thing. Yeah, probably trying to replace you. And I had videos on envious siblings as well, because that was big in the Bible. Yeah, some of you all, unfortunately, the envious people be in your family, and you have to learn how to set boundaries with them and establish distance as needed. Oh, thank you guys. I'm catching up on the recent chats. Shout out to Uncle Nene. We have a fellow California native in here. Hi everybody. Jay New Orleans. Why would you put that in the chat? Jay New Orleans, you be wilding in the chat sometimes. Thank you, Austin. Roses are red. Violets are blue. If you were a poem, you'd be my muse. That's so cute. I love that. Thank you, guys. You guys are so sweet. You guys are like, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, babes. I like how your content makes you look into your own flaws. I'm naturally warm, and yes, the attacks are a lot. And yes, I was jaded. I had no idea that it was a superpower. Yeah. Me too. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the opportunities that came to me in the favor, it was because I was cool. For real. It had nothing to do with talent. It had nothing to do with acumen. It was just the fact that I was a warm person, I was funny, and I was also empathetic. And I knew how to read the room. So I didn't overstep, I didn't overtalk, I didn't disrespect people. I knew how to shut up. You know, just little things like that. And people were like, you know what, I could rock with you. I like you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. And that's the thing too, is like, I'm funny. Me and that attorney, we were having a key. He was pointing out all the difficult members and me being messy. I was sitting there laughing when I was like, yeah, he does look like a stickler. I was like, how long has he been giving you a problem? I was like, he looks like he don't let up. We were having a key, y'all. We were cracking up in there. Playing in the people's place of business. We were cracking up. Just me being messy too, egging it on. I was like, he do look like he'll give y'all a hard time. I was like, how long y'all been fighting cases with him? He was like, for forever. And he just does not let up. I was like, he looked like he don't play no games. We were cracking up. And like those kind of opportunities and like those kind of connections and stuff, they're not going to happen for you if you don't know how to like be around people and connect with people. Like, girl, please. That's why when I be hearing people say stuff like, oh, being a warm person, being an inviting person, I know you're miserable. I'm like, actually, I'm not. I'm kicking it out here. Like, I just, people be like, how did things just always work out for you? I'm like, honestly, y'all, because I'm laid back and I'm funny. Truly. Truly. It's not really, I mean, I create too. So I bring some kind of barter or bargain system. I'm not just the personality hire. And ironically enough, when I do actual work though, I'm not a personality hire person. Like, I'm very much so by the book. I do my job and stay out the way. But like in other environments, like if it's not professional or whatever, like I'm funny, y'all. Like, I don't know. Me and that man, that attorney, we were cackling in there. We like, it was unserious how hard we were laughing in there. And one of the doctors that I was gonna go, like that I was seeing multiple times throughout the month, like after our session, she would be like, "Love you, honey." I'm like, "Love you too, doctor." So I don't know, like y'all, some of y'all, the reason why you're not having your way is because you're trying so hard to be the villain. Like, that is not, be the villain when it comes to people trying to weaponize your emotions and like back you into a corner. But like, really, in this thing called life, no. If that's not your personality, if that's not like, you're a warm person, people want to be around you, that be the villain trope, all jokes aside, because people do have different personality types. If you're not necessarily like a warm and inviting person and people are like, you kind of give me standoffish, but you do great work though, you're good at what you do, then I'm not downplaying that too. Everyone is different. Everyone brings different like attributes and characteristics to the table, and it all serves a purpose. But I really feel compelled to speak to my babes who lead with soft power, because I feel like that conversation is uncharted territory. People try to like villainize or weaponize having soft power or leading with warmth or being an inviting person. And I'm like, how could anyone ever weaponize that when that's actually a cheat code? That's a whole other conversation. And like I said, when it comes to marketing and stuff like that, I don't know if I want to start a conversation about that, or if I might partner with some other people who are marketing specialists, and that might be like another thing that I create, like another opportunity or a pathway for people, whether it be they want assistance with marketing like their business, scaling their business, or if they want to step into the content creation space. I don't know, I'll see what I can cook up. But if you are a warm and inviting person, that's another reason why some people, even though they have a lot of eyes on them, it doesn't translate to partnerships. Let's talk about it. I just saw a video the other day and someone was like, there are certain people who get brand collaborations and brand deals. And that's another thing about the content creation space, is it's going to put a mirror up to you. If people aren't reaching out to you for collaborations and partnerships and things like that, and you're just like, why is that the case? It's you might be coming off a particular way. Or maybe if you want to transition into that lane, you have a lot of eyes on you, but maybe you haven't tapped into like the influence piece yet. I feel like there's actually a lot of layers to content creation. That's why I said I feel for my creative babies, because people don't understand there's really like a math and science to creativity. So for example, right, the reason why some brand collaborations and partnerships may not reach out to a person, even if they do, for example, say they have like a really big following, but they don't influence people. People may like to like listen to them. They may like to hear like tea from them or whatever, but they may not have an influence component. That's why even when we talk about content creation, there's like a subcategory when it comes to influencers. A lot of influencers get brand deals because people are like, I like this person and I feel like whatever they say, like they authentically believe in a product or whatever, like the way that they conduct themselves, the way that they move, I would trust them to recommend me a product. And another component of that is someone who gives a warm energy and is genuine and authentic. Like I've gotten this on phone calls. I've had conversations with people in person and they were like, you have a very, very warm energy. So people could pick up on the fact, like if you tell me something, you're not leading me the wrong way. Or when you give me advice, it's not condescending. I would prefer to come to you each and every time with like a harsh truth if I feel like I made a misstep, because I know you're not going to mishandle me. And people who are looking for like partners and stuff like that when it comes to their brands and their businesses, they're looking out for that. Thank you. Did someone just give me another donation? Thank you guys. Please, I don't even know what the comment is, child. What's happening in the comments? Rico Sweet, thank you guys. Her skin looks brand new. Thank you, babes. Thank you. Someone said you are a queen. Thank you. I agree. You should be. I am super. Thank you, and okay, for the donation. I appreciate it, you all. Thank you all so much. Wow. Thank you, babes. I'm super selective with who is in my personal life since I am aware of how I am with people I care about. Someone said, hey, you pretty girl, you're gorgeous. Whoa, thank you, and okay, thank you. Double donation. Oh, but I don't know what these comments are. I'm just gonna embrace your donations. Thank you so much. Thank you, I deeply appreciate it. Someone said you are a queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys. Oh, thank you, Drew. Said gorgeous. Thank you guys. Oh wow, Jay New Orleans. Also, they should check themselves for any unconscious toxicity they picked up from toxic parties. Absolutely. Real. You have to purge. That's another thing. I love that point, Jay New Orleans. That's another reason why there should be a season for you to kind of like go back and reflect and recover, because you probably do have that rejection residue on you. I made a video on my Faith channel talking about that too on the Remnant Room. So you have to make sure that you're clearing that off. So once you do start to rub shoulders with people that God has sent to you, you don't mess those opportunities up. Because you don't believe, oh wow, but these people said this about you. Yeah, but they lied though. They were lying because they never wanted you to step into your potential. So when you start encountering people who are just like, no, I feel like you're dope. I really love your company. I love what you bring to the table, etc. You don't want to second guess and not step out on faith when the opportunity is finally being presented to you with the right people and the right partnerships. Thank you, Viv. Hey, you pretty girl. You're a gorgeous girl. I'm a girl, also not a creep. Thank you, babes. Human studies has made life make so much more sense. Changes mean the group sees their stagnation and then you're left with aborting the change or leaving. Fair. I find people who group think. I think I already read that. Okay, I did. Oh, my condolences, Oakleaf. I'm sorry to hear that. I do believe in Jesus Christ. Yeah, he sent some decent money. Thank you. Thank you, and okay, I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's the donation name. I'm sorry. Axel. Okay. I was looking at the wrong username the whole time. All I can see is Axel. But what was I even talking about, babes? Thank you to whoever's like in the lab, by the way, too. But yeah, I've been talking for so long, you guys. I'm so sorry. All right, my loves. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up because it's late. So thank you guys so much for rocking with me for as long as you did. Have a great night. Announcements. Thank you. Perk Alert. Thank you. Very interesting name. I appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment. Grant writing webinar taking place again on July 24th. So secure your spot by accessing the link in the chat. I'll also put it in the description box of the live replay of this video. And also there's going to be announcements on my community tab on my YouTube channel as well for you guys to access all of this information as well. Also, for my musicians, there is a publishing administrative service that is officially live. So what we do is we help you with registration so that you're able to accumulate your publishing royalties and you keep 100% of your publishing. That's the difference, okay? So that is also live on the same website. It's just a separate service. And you can go ahead and access that link as well to get that process started. But other than that, that's the only announcements that I have right now. Have a great weekend, you guys. Weekend. Very tight, as you can see. Have a great weekend, not working. Hopefully you guys get some rest. I'm delusional. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm very tired. Hopefully you guys get some rest this weekend. You get a break from working. And I will talk to you guys later. Good night, babes. Oh, someone said I like your vibe, new subscriber here. Welcome to the reader community. Okay, seeing you guys.